Jack takes it himself. All the way in, up and over, touchdown.
His right foot, which is where he would prefer it to be. Now he's going to scoot towards the middle. He gets checked there by Yeager. A shot. He will score!
Miles says, I got this. Pull a three, step back on cue. 96, 99, 93.
Fred Hunter straight up the middle. Fred's not going to get denied. Touchdown, Fred.
Reset to 20. Nodell looks good. Is good. And cuts the Owl lead to 2 from 2. Then strips Rich. Leaves it for Pitts.
And Curtis Lee now back to serve for the Hornets. Trailing by 1 here in the 4th set. And Lowe sets up Anisimov, but it's blocked by Nadelson and Chavez. And point goes to the Hornets.
Come back quickly to line of scrimmage. First down and 10. Lunsford goes back, has lots of time. Goes deep corner. Did he get his feet in? Touchdown, Fullerton College.
Serving now for Santa Barbara will be Russell. Received by Bush. Russell sets up Chavez, and it's a point for the Hornets.
They've got a corner kick coming up. San Diego City lining up defensively. A two-person wall along the left post. This is up and high. Ariola bounces it back. A chance down the middle. It's going to go in. It's a goal. Jacob Leggett has put it away. And Fullerton College has taken the lead with less than a minute to go.
You are watching the 2026 Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Hornet Radio. We're going to have the pleasure of seeing 8 people inducted tonight, and it will be our pleasure to give you those people in personal interviews. Corey, I'm going to start off with Bob Terry, one of the more prolific free throw people in the name of basketball, and the top scorer. That's going to be one. And Travis, the next one is going to be on you.
It's going to be Gabriella Perez, who played women's water polo from 2014 all the way to 2016, and she was part of that 2014-2015 state championship team, which includes setting records for first and winning the Orange Empire Conference and winning the SoCal Championship. And she also has the career record of 185 goals and the state record as well.
And so I've got D'Angelo Ross, arguably the best defensive back Fullerton College has ever produced, went on and still has a productive NFL career, all conference. Should have been the MVP of that 2016 state championship team. Let's throw it over to Thomas and James.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to go with Rich Leon, who was part of the 1965 national championship team where they won the Junior Rose Bowl in front of 50,000 fans. He caught 12 passes in that game for 159 yards, which was a record at that time. He also holds 4 records still to this day at Fullerton College in receptions in a season with 70, 129 receptions in his career, 23 touchdowns scored, and 1,700 receiving yards in his career. So he's got records all over the place.
Yeah, I also wanted to highlight the 2005 and 2006 men's basketball team here at Fullerton College. They had a 37-0 record, perfect, and that also tied into a 50-game winning streak. It's absolutely insane, but that is all for us. Back to you, Mark.
So we're going to take a hard look at Lynette Velasquez. 95 through 97, did you already do that, Tommy? I didn't know. You didn't say it. So we did that for 90 and 97. You've got to look at her career games. She led everything for 99 games. A cornerstone of Hornet softball. Velasquez led the team to runner-up finish in 1996 in the state championships, Travis and Corey. That's one of the things you can look. Finished her career with a 394 batting average, which was spectacular, and she later earned a full scholarship to play with Patty Gasso, who coached at Long Beach City College at one time and now is the head coach at Oklahoma University. You got to look at everything she did, a slugging percentage of .629 and an All-American, why she was here at Fullerton College. So we're going to have more interviews coming up, along with seeing some of the highlights here with Ryan Osborne doing an interview with D'Angelo Ross that'll be coming up in a little while.
And right now we're going to take it to Caleb Ramos, who's going to be talking to Phil Thurman, the sports information director here at Fullerton College.
Hello, everyone. You are watching the 2026 Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Hornet Radio. I'm Caleb Ramos, and we wanted to set up the night by getting an understanding of the event by hearing from those who were instrumental in setting it up. Joining me now is Phil Thurman, the Sports Information and Marketing Coordinator for the Fullerton College Hornets. Now, what kind of event is this, in your own words?
So this is a celebration of our past, and then we're looking to embrace that, and then also help that in marketing for the future.
Now, you mentioned the celebration of the past. What is the kind of thought process that goes towards choosing the athletes or teams that are inducted into the Hall of Fame at these dinners?
Well, I'm just a sounding board for all of that. So throughout throughout the year, I collect. So we have, like, you can nominate anybody. So usually I collect all the nominations, and then I save them, and I keep them forever too. I don't like, oh, the year's over,
Right.
So I just collect this whole list of fantastic athletes from the past, and then I present those when we have our board meeting, our Hall of Fame board meeting, and then I present those to our board, and then the choices are made from there. And it's never an easy choice because everybody's so fantastic, and but we always are thoughtful with um, who we pick and how we do it. We want it to be fair and equal process.
Right. Now, once you have selected the athletes or teams that are going to make it in, how do you go about contacting them after all these years?
So that's me. That's what's one of my favorite parts of my job. So we usually have all these athletes' contact information, and if not, I can get it from other alumni. But I one of my favorite parts is we put a letter together. We send the letter out, and then I personally contact each inductee and notify them and let them know. And it's a great part of my job. It's like giving a gift, and it's nice to make a good connection with these inductees. So I've met a number of fantastic people over the years, just by having this cool position that I have at Fullerton College.
Now, you mentioned that being a nice part of your job. Do you have a sort of favorite part of setting up these dinners or hosting them, or do you not really kind of like it all?
I like every aspect of it. I mean, there's a lot of pressure because putting this together is like putting together a wedding.
Right.
So you got to have everything put together just right. You got to have a program. You got to have all your media set up. You got to promote it right. And then when you're done doing that, then you got to make sure you have a good show to present, right? So you got to have all the bells and whistles that come with it. And you also want to keep your inductees that are coming informed. So there's a lot of dances and hats you have to wear. So I enjoy that process. It's a little bit of pressure, but it keeps me on my toes. And you want it to go off right. You want everybody to feel that they had a great experience and that they were treated well. So my favorite part is just people, I guess. So dealing with people and making connections. So my job allows me to do that, and especially with the Hall of Fame. Yeah, it's a lot of work, and it could be burdensome at times just because of the amount of work that goes into it. collecting pictures, making sure their bios are right, putting together PowerPoint, putting together a video presentation, making sure the music's right, making sure the food's right. I mean, it's a wedding, so it makes for a great celebration. So yeah, do I have one specific part of my job? Just dealing with people. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the pressure of kind of putting it all together. You were hired on right after the first one, so you've
hmm
been a part of all of them since.
hmm
Do you kind of feel a little bit of pressure trying to make each dinner better than the last, or do you just kind of try and keep them all very similar?
No, we try to outdo ourselves every time. It's hard, because some have these special moments that are created just, organically. And that's the part I like, is the part of the magic, and seeing people who hadn't seen each other in years, and that's what makes it great. It's not necessarily like we just put it together, we present it, but then the magic happens at the event when you see people that hadn't seen each other in 20, 30 years
Right.
making connections. So I don't know. Um, we always try to make it better every year, but the magic is, what makes it great for me is the connections. Yeah, with everybody catching up and seeing each other.
Right. And speaking of trying to make it better, this upcoming one is the 10th. So first double digit
hmm
Hall of Fame dinner. Do you have anything special planned for that or not really?
Um, we're obviously going to mention that it's our 10th one, and we don't do these every year because it takes so much work and time, and with all the other sports happening throughout the year, it's a lot to squeeze in, so we do it every other year. And so we were supposed to do it technically last year, but we didn't want to put it on our new dean that was hired
Right.
her first year. So we said, hey, let's give it some time and let her get acclimated and get used to the position, and then we'll all come up together and do a great job for this year. So it is the 10th. And no, we're not doing anything special, but we're marking it. It's kind of different. You've been doing it. I've been in this position for 20 years, and we're in our 10th one. Uh, it's it's funny to watch how the inductees have changed. So this year, I would say we have more of we're the first years we were dealing with a lot of inductees from the 40s, 50s, 60s, and then it started to get to the 70s and 80s, and now we're into the 2000s, players that were inductees that were played in the 2000s. So that's kind of neat. I mean, so a lot of these inductees we're putting in this year, I was around then, so it's kind of neat to see them when they were young kids coming up, and now they're all grown and adults and becoming inductees. I feel old.
I was gonna say, do you have any part of the dinners that you're most proud to see come to fruition?
Which, like, in what way? Like,
Anyway, like seeing the athletes come back and seeing their reactions or the technical aspect of it coming all together, stuff like that.
yeah, it's it's always great to see. Uh, I think I'm always really nervous at the beginning of the show when everybody's registering and checking in, and then what always relieves me every year is seeing people check in, and then people that haven't seen each other in a minute, and catching up, and then I'm brought in the loop, and they explain what the connections were.
Right.
That's that to me, like, all the nerves go away after that, and it's magical. Yeah.
What kind of thing happens for you besides that to like, hey, this is going really well. What's that point for you where you see this is succeeding again?
Um, that moment actually, because it's the connections. To me, the show's going to be fine. We already have everything in place, right? But it's the people in the room that bring the magic. It's them coming back on campus, seeing the campus after being away a long time. A lot of people are coming from out of state. They haven't been on campus in a long time, and they see some of the changes, but then they see some of the things that were from their era, and it brings back stories, and then you hear these great stories, and you see the connections. That's the magic in the room. The stuff we put together is great. It's to bring us together, but it's the other outside things, and seeing people reconnect.
What kind of like behind the scenes stuff goes on in the planning and setting up and even during the dinner that most people won't notice?
Well, there's a lot of planning that goes in. We meet. We so we're to get it off the ground. We start this process. Um, gee, I'd say 10 months ago, and then we've met every week since. And it's like I said, it's like putting a wedding together. We're making sure A, B, and C is there. Everybody's got a little checklist we're going through. We want to make sure that this is a great event and that people really enjoy themselves. So a lot of planning goes in, and we just got out of a meeting right now, and just to make sure everybody's got their stuff together and everything's clicking. And I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to be great on Friday.
How do you kind of balance those weekly meetings and setting up for this while also keeping up with your normal job duties as well?
It's not easy because you have some people in the room in our meetings have to teach classes.
Right.
They have to coach. There are other meetings, and then sports for me. There's other sports I need to get to. So we try to plan the meetings usually in the morning before the afternoon hits, where we have other sports, because we're cooking right now. There's a lot going on this spring. A lot of good things happening. Our softball team's doing great. Baseball team's doing great. Tennis is wrapping up. We have a couple of tennis players that are getting ready to go to Ojai. So there's a lot going on. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Phil. Once again, you are watching the 2026 Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Hornet Radio. And let's toss it back to the table with Ryan, Mark, Corey, Joe, and the rest of the crew as well.
All right, thank you, Caleb. And now I'm here with the longtime voice of Hornet baseball and basketball, David Shaw. David, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, James. Nice to have you.
Yeah, it's great to have you with us. Congratulations, too, by the way, on this great honor.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor. I'm overwhelmed. So, I'm so proud of everybody that's going to be inducted tonight, and I'm proud to be alongside them to take our rightful place here at Fullerton College.
Yeah, it's quite a list of names to be a part of. This is going to be a great night for everybody involved, and it's good to see you getting out there, too, and getting your recognition.
Right.
Now, when you got started doing the broadcasting, it was with baseball at Troy High School, right?
Yes. Nick Fiscardo, our former head coach here at Fullerton, he was the varsity coach at Troy, and I was a student there, and so he asked me to announce the games. And then when I graduated my senior year, he also left to come here at Fullerton that same senior year. And then he says, I've got an opening for you. If you come to Fullerton, we'll make you an announcer for baseball here in 1982.
Yeah, that's awesome. So in 1982, when you came here, you also took the same class that we're all taking right now, the CRTV broadcasting class.
Yes. So I was doing that, and then they said, baseball said, we need you to move into the PA announcing. And so I gave up the class and then just started doing baseball over the public address system in 82.
And you also do the basketball, too. How did that happen here at Fullerton? I know that the basketball coach heard you at Troy, but what happened here at Fullerton to get you that position?
I also, when I was at Troy, Hornet Hall of Famer Bill Morris was the varsity basketball coach then in the 80s, in the early 80s, 80, 81, when I was a student there. I worked for him all through my high school year from 77 to 81. Those were my 4 years at Troy. And then as far as I was doing baseball and basketball at Troy for Nick Fiscardo and Bill Morris, so basketball and baseball then. And then when I left to go to Fullerton, I was at the baseball field on a practice day. We were having an off day, so I would always not only just the games, but I would come to practice, and I would get to know the kids and the players and the coaches and get to know them, and also practice their names and make sure we got them right. We don't really have to get the visiting teams right all the time. We try our best, but at least, if you're going to announce the home team correctly. If you're going to work for them, you got to know their names.
Right.
But Roger C. Took over the basketball for men that year in '82, and then he came out to the field, and he says, "Hey, I need a basketball announcer." So then I was doing both here for that. So I was announcing for Roger C. and then for Mike Scoba and Nick Fiscardo.
All right, so just making yourself seen, and
Yes.
it's pretty much got you the job.
Right.
That's awesome. So looking back at your time here, you've been here a long time now.
44 years.
Yeah. So is there like a moment or like a game or just a highlight that sticks out to you more than any other highlight that you've done? Like just
Of a game or just an event?
Of a game or event.
We had one last year where one of our players hit a walk-off grand slam to win the game against Orange Coast. So that was pretty remarkable. But I've seen a couple of those walk-offs. Always times the walk-offs in baseball are just the most exhilarating, because you're just like, it's down to the last pitch or the last out and last batter, and it's like, okay, we need a hit or we need something, and just to take the lead or to win the game. And so those sitting on your edge of your seat moments, those are the best.
Right, and especially in baseball, with such a long game, and to come down to that last moment is huge.
Right, it's huge.
I agree.
Yes.
That's one of the most exciting things you can see. And you also work for the Angels, am I correct?
I did. I don't anymore, but I did as a clubhouse attendant for the visiting side. So I got to know a lot of the Angel players and the visiting players that when I worked there, just in the clubhouse doing laundry. We were just washing underwear and socks and uniforms and all that. And so and it's with a heavy heart today that we're having this today when Garrett Anderson had passed away today. So, and I knew him very well. And so it's with a heavy heart that, but we got to keep moving on.
Right.
And so he would want that for me, and he would want that for everybody that knew him.
Yeah,
So.
he was really a nice guy. I remember seeing him
Yes.
in the concourse all the time.
Quiet, but a very nice man.
Yep.
So he will be missed.
Yep, absolutely. And then, so going back to your days, or to the Fullerton side of things, Coach Fiscardo, when he was the coach, and then transitioning over to Chad Baum now.
Yes.
What do you see as the biggest differences in coaching style, or is there something different you see in the two?
No, the only style that we have here at Fullerton, everybody wants to win. That's the main thing. But we want to win, and so but baseball's struggling right now. But if you don't pitch, you don't win. So it's amazing how we were going great until we had our bye week, and then since our bye week, we've just really struggled. But everybody wants to win, and we're all and the main thing here at Fullerton that we try to emphasize is that we're all family, and we all pull for each other. There doesn't have to be any blood relation here, okay? You don't have to be blood to be family. I'm a firm believer of that, and then there'll be some of my family here that I recognize as family that aren't blood related, but they're my family. And that goes the same way, not only in my personal life, but at Fullerton here as well. We are family here, and we got everybody's back. We all love each other, and we all pull for each other. And, the saying that we have here at Fullerton is that we live by is once a Hornet, always a Hornet. That's our phrase. And then just for tonight, I want to change that. Once a Hornet, always a Hornet. But tonight, for everybody being inducted, once a Hornet, but forever a Hall of Famer.
That's
for
awesome.
Tonight.
That's awesome. So, and then one last quick question here. So, basketball and baseball, what is your favorite?
If the good Lord came to me and said, David, my son, I'm only going to let you announce one more game, and that's it, one more. And you've either got to pick baseball or basketball. I'd pick baseball every time.
All right. And I want to thank you again, David, for joining us today.
All right. Thank you, James.
Right.
I appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank you very much.
And I'm James Spillin. Now I'm going to shoot it on over to Ryan Osborne.
So thank you very much, James. We appreciate it. I am here with Thomas Cribbs.
And today, well, it's all about honoring the Fullerton College legacy. That's truly what this afternoon and this night is going to be about. Thomas, you already talked a little bit about an inductee, but when you look at your very first Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony, what really stood out to you about the studying for this night?
You said the studying? I would say the information gathering on each individual person, especially like as we're going throughout the class. You guys always say we want 5 points of contact, and some of these players and some of these athletes, they date back to the 60s and to the 50s, and it was challenging, but it was also very fun trying to get those 5 points of contact for everyone on the list.
Well, when you mention those 5 points of contact, one thing that is always cool for us here on Hornet Radio and then also back in the day with 90.1 FM KBPK is the fact that we do have the opportunity to not just read about those 5 points of contact, but we actually do get to meet those people who end up finding their way into these induction ceremonies. You go back to the days where the 1965 team was inducted. The 1967 football team as well was also inducted. In 2023, if you were here with us on Hornet Radio, you saw the 1983 team inducted. Now, Thomas, if you want to talk about 5 points of contact, imagine having to study for an entire football team 5 points of contact-wise. I know that we have an entire basketball team, but those are kind of the days that you really remember as you keep going on and you learn about this Fullerton College legacy. Is it's all about, like you said, those 5 points of contact. If you can look at a football team and say, I want to know who's around that program, who had an impact on that program, not just the people on the field, but everyone in the Fullerton community, it becomes very impressive and you truly understand what this legacy for Fullerton really is. Now, I'll bring it back over to you. I'm going to go back to someone that you have been talking about for a few weeks. You look at Makanessi. Huge impact for the track and field program, but it's going to be exciting to see her inducted into this Hall of Fame ceremony because, like you were talking about, records, it's all her.
Yeah, she holds 2 records right now, like I was saying, with the shot put and the discus. Shot put alone, I'm not throwing an 8.5-pound ball, 14, 15 meters. And even for a discus as well, she yanked that thing 150 meters. Those are like long throws, and that's not something you would normally see from someone, and I'm pretty sure that's why she's definitely being honored today.
You mentioned that. I mean, you go back to her high school days at Loera High School. She actually owns some of the records for the shot put and then also the hammer throw as well. Then you switch it over to her time at Catella High School. 1 year at Catella, has the records or is in the top 5 in terms of overall for hammer and also shot put as well. She comes over to Fullerton College. You were talking about it with Dan Prady on the Coaches Show a few days ago. If you want to talk about someone who owns a record book, I mean, just like you mentioned, it's real tough for someone to throw a shot put at all. But this track and field athlete was exceptional in what she did.
Yeah, I mean, Makanessi, like you said, was exceptional. And during her tenure year, her 2 years here, freshman year, state title. Second year, defended that state title. And I believe that's where she got the shot put record and defended that title, earning her personal best at that as well in 2011.
So in case you haven't actually been a part of one of these induction ceremonies with us here on Hornet Radio, my name is Ryan Osborne. Earlier, you heard from Thomas Cribbs, but also at the table, James Spillin alongside David Shaw. We're going to keep it rolling here with Thomas and I for just a little bit longer, but we do want to introduce everyone who you've met so far. Mark Pavlovich was the one who introduced the show and the event that we have here tonight. He was also joined to his right and to the left of the viewer by Travis Forrester, who is part of the CRTV 145 class here on campus at Fullerton College. Over to Mark's left and the viewer's right, so if you're watching online, to your right was Corey Nalen, the professor for 145 and also the color commentator for Fullerton College football, along with the voice of the Hornets, Mark Pavlovich. Again, my name is Ryan Osborne. You're going to hear from more of us. I should say you're going to hear more of us from this event as we keep rolling along. In just a little bit, what you're going to hear from is D'Angelo Ross. We'll get to that in a second. But one thing that we will say, after D'Angelo Ross, you'll hear more introductions to athletes who are going to be not only inducted, but the people who truly had an impact on their lives, the people who had an impact on the Fullerton College community as well. Then we're going to bring you some more talk with Caleb Ramos and Scott Giles, in addition to the ceremony itself that we will carry live here on Hornet Radio. That's slated to start at 6 p.m. So stay with us all the way until that 6 o'clock hour. We'll send it live over to the ceremony as we continue here on the 2026 Fullerton College Induction Ceremony here at the Hall of Fame. So without further ado, I got the honor honor to be able to talk to one of the inductees. It was D'Angelo Ross, who was here in 2016 and also 2015 too. Want to remember that year as well, playing in the playoffs against Mount Sac. But that 2016 team was special. And one of the reasons why it was special was because of D'Angelo Ross and what he was able to do, game in and game out for the Fullerton College Hornets. For more from him, here's D'Angelo. So we are live at the 2026 Hall of Fame induction ceremony here at Fullerton College. My name is Ryan Osborne. Joining me now is D'Angelo Ross, one of the inductees here tonight. D'Angelo, you look at Fullerton College. Let's start back in your high school days. You come out of high school, you're looking for a program to be able to really further your career. What brought you to Fullerton?
It's actually like it's crazy, and I'm glad it happened the way it happened. But so I got a call from Coach Deep, and I was just like dead set on Division One. So like he called me, he's like, "Hey, like want you to come down to Fullerton." I had never even heard of Fullerton. I live a little bit closer to Mount Sac. Even my brother, he went to Citrus, like, so I never heard of Fullerton. I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." And then I ended up walking on at Fresno State. So, and then when I got there, I did well, and then like they redshirted me, but I was like, I just didn't see it panning out the way that I wanted to. So as soon as I made the decision to leave, I had Coach Deep's card and his information. So I was like, let me just call them. Like I didn't call anybody else. And they said, like, come on. That was the spring of 2025, I believe, because I was only at Fresno State for a semester. So, I mean, and then I got there, I met Coach Austin, and then like that, the rest is history.
Well, you mentioned meeting Coach Austin. I remember, I believe it was the Burger Bowl in 2015, where you get your first opportunity to really see what Fullerton is like. You see some of the alumni. I know a lot of people talk about the family aspect of Fullerton, but was that really the first time that you got a chance to look at it?
My first time looking at I feel like I got thrown in there because I got there in the spring of 2015. I didn't know anybody. I just like showed up that day, and like I met everybody, and there's like so many guys there because it's junior college. So like I'm trying to get acclimated to school, and then like like I didn't know much about the program at all, really. And then it's just meeting Coach Austin, and then Coach Burns was the coach at the time, and then Coach Crooks. Like I didn't, from that time in the spring all the way throughout the summer, I don't think I said much. I didn't really talk to many people. And then I remember Coach Austin announced the starters, and then I feel like that was the first time he even like said my name out loud, and everybody just like looked around, and it was me. So
when you do see yourself starting for Fullerton for the first time, what kind of goes through your mind knowing that, all right, I've already been at Fresno State for a little bit, but for Fullerton College, it's my first time dressing. What goes through your mind that first time starting?
I remember that first game. I think it was at Ventura. I realized quickly that the competition was like, it wasn't going to be like a cakewalk. Like even the battle to win the starting job, there were so many guys, and so I took it like I didn't think it was going to be easy, and it wasn't easy. And then even that first game at Ventura, I did well, but I felt like I was a little I felt like the competition was it was like I was like, this is gonna be like real. It's junior college, but it's real football. Like we got real talent out here, and it's California JUCO, so it's always competitive, and everybody's trying to get to the next level. So I remember that I was nervous that game because I knew where I wanted to go, and I knew what I needed to do to get to where I wanted to go. So it was a good moment. It's like any first moment with a team or at a different level, like you're just trying to get a feel for it, but then like you slowly understand what it takes. So, and then we have Coach Austin. He was a great player himself, and then should have probably had a chance to play in the league. So he prepared us for that.
I mean, you mentioned Coach Austin, just kind of on the lighter note. Was there any point where he ended up bringing up his Hawaii highlights like he did with us and saying, hey, look at this, guys, I got a hit on Tom Brady when I was playing him in a bowl game?
I think he did pull up his, he would pull it up just to show how violent he was, because he was a big hitter in his day. But yeah, he showed us. It was cool to see him play, and like I said, I feel like he was good enough to get an opportunity, but it's just, that's just how it happens sometimes.
You switch things over to that 2016 season. Obviously, it finishes special, but what was the first moment that you realized that 16 team was going to be different?
It always starts in the off season. We were like the guys were just so close, and we worked our butts off. Like it's hard work. Like we're out there on the pavement. You got people going to class, and we're just out there working with in the weight room. And then it was just you could tell, like, a lot of guys took ownership in that team. And like me, I'm not a vocal leader, but we had a lot of leaders on that team. And you could just tell like we were going to do something special. And then as the season went on, like that's what we demanded, like excellence. We hated the fact that we lost. We lost that Saddleback.
Yeah.
That's like one of my worst. Like I feel like that's one of my worst games. Like I gave up some stuff, but yeah, wish we could have that one back. But like we took that after we lost that game. We knew we were not going to lose again.
Yeah.
Like we're like almost fighting in the meeting when we got back, because it was just that serious to us. Like we didn't feel like anybody should be able to beat us.
Well, when you mentioned that, you go over to the playoffs, and if I remember correctly, Southern California, the two games were Riverside and then also Ventura, if I'm remembering right. Then you
I
face
believe so. Yeah.
American River in the final or in the championship game.
Mhm.
Go down to the fourth quarter. Game's close, but American River is starting to drive. You see, I believe it was Taj who tips that ball into the air. It's intercepted. You guys take over. What's the
Yeah.
feeling on the field when you see that tip?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know, but Taj Jones was he's a childhood friend of mine. Like he's basically family. Like we grew up together. So for him to be able to get him down to Fullerton, and I always felt like, and I'll tell him this to this day, like every time I talk to him, he was like, I felt like he was a better corner than me. He played corner growing up. I was kind of new to playing corner, so it was just natural to him. And for us to both be like out there for that championship game, like I had the utmost confidence in him all season. And then like to see him do that, it was just fitting, because like I had a heck of a game, and then him finishing the game that's just the way that it was supposed to be.
When you look at how Fullerton impacted your life, obviously you win the championship. You have people here who you got a chance to grow in the game of football, but also in the game of life as well. How did Fullerton really impact you personally?
I even take it to, I tell people, like, even in school, and like I had some of the best teachers at Fullerton. Like you got, like, it's a junior college, so it's a kind of a smaller, tight knit environment. Like the teachers and the way that they, like I really learned, like, as opposed to when I got to the university, when you're in a big old auditorium, it's not really that personal. So I learned a lot in the classroom, and then with football, that's where I took the jump and like took the next step. Like I always talk to Coach Austin about that. That's where I saw myself. That's where I kind of believed like I can do this. And then you got guys, all the guys that I've seen, like I saw them coming from like Baltimore. You got guys from Texas. It's guys from all over the country. So I got to experience like and talk to a lot of people from like all over the world. And then like that's what it is now for me. So it's just like it's just preparing me for these moments. And then, like I said, I have lifelong friends from that. And then things that I don't remember, like it's just I don't know why. I think I'm just always like just in the moment, and like, but like guys will tell me, you remember this and you remember that, and I like that just brings joy to me, because I do, once I'm reminded about it, I remember those days. There was a lot of days and preparation and time that went into that. And then those guys, I know I'm really bought into a team when like guys get me out of my comfort zone, and like we finally won the game. They're like, come on, you got to come out and like you got to like hang out with us, because I would never, like, the game's over, I go home.
Yeah.
And then, but after I won that game, like I had to celebrate with my teammates. Like it was a great moment.
When you speak to that, how much of that also was instilled by the coaching staff to be able to look at you and say, hey, it might not be your personality coming into Fullerton College, but this is how you develop chemistry with everyone that you'll meet, not just at Fullerton, but going forward?
Yeah, it's important. And Coach Austin is like, he's the driving force of that. Like he's gonna put you, like, well, he took me out of my comfort zone, like make me like turn me into a leader, and that's what great coaches do. I've been around some great coaches in the NFL, and if they see that you're a guy that can lead or you're a guy that people follow, like they put you in those positions. So it is important. It's like the same thing my dad does. You force me to be out of my comfort zone because you know that I can like achieve something or like motivate people, and that's what they did, like, and that's what coaches continue to do, with anybody they think could be a great leader.
You mentioned the familial aspect. One of the joys that we have had as broadcasters, and myself personally, that 2015, 2016 teams, those were the first 2 years that I was here at Fullerton. And then Mark Pavlovich, who has been the voice of Fullerton College for a while, one of his joys was being able to call those teams. We were able to talk with your family and see the family members of everyone who was on the team being able to support that squad. What was it like to be able to know that you had your family right there watching you, cheering you on, and having them on the sidelines at all times?
That's what I do it for. And unfortunately my mom, she passed away and a few years ago in 2023, but she's the one I heard the most. And if you hear like little clips that they have of me at Fullerton, you always hear her in the background. And I remember, I'll never forget, you were Belinda High School, and like my mom and where my uncle, my dad's always standing, like my godparents, like everybody who would come out to support me. I had friends that would come out because it was right at home for me. But that's what I did. That's what I did it for. That's what I do it for. And like I just love having my family there. I love watching them watch me, and then I know that they love watching me. So I just always try to do the best that I can, that I could do. And then they made some big trips. We played down in San Diego, Ventura. So they would always, as best as they can, wherever I was at, that's where they would be. So like that's important to me.
When you mention what's important to you, I know that the coaching staff, a lot of times they'll talk to us and say one of the coolest things that they will ever look at is a student athlete who comes to them out of high school or maybe comes to them from a Division I, Division II, Division III program. And then they're able to keep track of their success, whether it be businesses, going on to the pros, creating families as well. It's their joy. That's what they always tell us about. How did they set an example for you going forward in that life aspect?
Well, they had plenty of guys. I remember guys coming to talk to us, and they weren't all furthering their careers in football. It was businesses and them telling us how this experience, like, you'll never forget it, and it's gonna go by so quick. It's only 2 years. Like I've always only had 2 years because I like 2 years at Fullerton, 2 years at New Mexico, and it just goes by in a flash. So they've always had guys come out. I haven't been there in a while, but I've gone back and talked to the guys. So it's just bringing in guys so that like like what they're talking about, it's real. And they've had that coaching staff. They've been there for so long, so they have I feel like that's kind of rare. So Fullerton's just a great place. You have stability, and you got guys, like, you got coaches that know what it takes. So and then they prove that with the guys that they have, and it's not all about football. Like you said, it's about life as well. And they truly do. Like Coach Austin texts up on me all the time. I've been through a lot in the NFL, and Coach Austin, he's always right there. He's even trying to help me as much as he can further my career. So like I always appreciate him and Coach Crooks. I know they're always watching.
If you were to look at a person who is looking to choose Fullerton College as the next step in their career, what would you say to them?
I think it's a no-brainer. The campus is beautiful, the area. It's just, you're gonna get an experience that, especially if you're not from California, that's the beauty. And like I said, I truly believe the schooling aspect of it. You get something out of it as opposed to even universities. And I've been there. You get that personal relationship and you get something out of your education. And I feel like that should be important. That should be what everybody's looking for and then, there's investments into sports. Like you got I wish I could have played at the school. That would have been really cool. Like the locker rooms, it's just, there's an importance on that, and you can see it. So it would be a no-brainer. I've had a lot of people I've influenced to go there too. So
Awesome. Thank you, D'Angelo. We're actually going to send it back to the table as we keep it rolling for the 2026 induction ceremony.
thank you.
You're watching the 2026 Fullerton College Hall of Fame inductee ceremony on Hornet Radio. And I'm lucky enough, not that I am the basketball voice here at Fullerton College, that would belong to Corey Nalen, but I'm lucky enough because I got Bob Terry. And the reason, well, I said I wanted you, Bob, is not just because you're the most prolific scorer here at Fullerton College, but you've got one category that I'm madly in love with. You shot free throws at 90%, and you made still a Fullerton College record of 36 free throws in a row. So I'm going to ask the obvious question, because I have problems when Corey and I watch basketball today. My biggest thing is I always think that teams should shoot 75% from the free throw line and that nobody should be under 70% as a free thrower. So I'm going to look at a youngster way back then that played for Fullerton in 1992. How did you become a 90% free throw player?
Well, it was constant practice, free throw games. I think at an early age I had a routine, and I think since 6 or 7 years old I had the same routine every time. The funny thing about the 36 is that I made 23 before that, missed, and then had 36. So I'm happy with 36, but I could have had 59.
Oh, wow.
If I would have. But I would just say it was from constant practice, and it was doing the same thing over and over and over again. But when I was younger, we played games like 21, the free throw games. And my parents' backyard, I had a spot, and it's still there today, just dribbling, just a big spot for me, just dribbling. But it was constant practice, just shot free throws. Part of my shooting routine, I would probably shoot 100 free throws a day. And then weekends, I was always practicing. So I would say I wasn't even satisfied with 90 because I wanted to shoot 95. My goal was to shoot 95. And so, if I'd go 7 for 8 in a game, I would be upset, because it's 88%. So I was like, oh, my free throw percentage just went down. So it's constant practice and just mentally, not just shooting, but mentally putting yourself in that spot constantly. So I think that really helped me just feel comfortable and not even really think about it. It was just because you were such an outstanding free throw person, did that transition to you actually being a more prolific shooter on the court because you had 6 games where over 30 points was a piece of cake? Did that transition the other way for you to be a basketball player? Well, I tried to get to the free throw line as much as possible. So that was my goal is, to get, now it's a little different with the player control foul, but set a screen and try to flop and get, free throws for that. And I would get probably 4 free throws a game for that. But it did help just the shooting. It translated to 3-point shooting. And but that was part of my routine too. It's just constantly in the gym. I just love to play basketball and just shoot. So I spent a lot of time, my wife will joke, even when I was at Fullerton, I was, I said, if you want to see me on the weekend, you got to come to Tamarack Park because I was busy working and I needed to get that practice in. So it did translate to being able to score. And yes.
When you look at shooters nowadays, like I said, Corey's the b-ball guy. Corey's got a shooter mentality. We've called thousands of games Corey and I have together, and Corey says the mentality of a shooter is give me the ball, and no matter if I'm 0 for 27 or I'm 27 of 27, I'm going to shoot number 28. So in saying that to you, because I have that mentality, does that mentality transfer to other things in life too?
I think so. It's just, it's just, say you fall down 7 times, you get up 8 times. It's just, you just continue to persevere. So I had good coaching and learned at an early age. I think kids these days are too worried about being embarrassed. I see them and they just want to be cool. I think athletes that are successful, not afraid to fail. And just from the coaching standpoint too, knowing I've had shooters and, you have the green light no matter what. there's a reason why certain people can shoot more than others.
Yeah, exactly.
But it did translate to just being persistent and not giving up. And, luckily I had good coaches who kind of helped me in those areas.
And you bring up twice now about the coaches who helped you. So,
Right.
I mean, I don't even care if we go back to elementary school, but who are those coaches that made you at least the basketball player you were at Fullerton College and then transitioned into the man you are today?
Yeah, and I'll talk about that when I talk, but later. But Bill Lentini was big. He was our police chief who ran a Brea Police Athletic Basketball League, which we look forward to. In high school, I had two very influential. I had good coaches all around, but Chris Emeterio, my sophomore coach, who I'll talk about, and Rick Jones. Sorry, Mike.
That's okay. That's why we do these. That's why
Carrie
we
Dodd
do these
over there.
things.
But Carrie Dodd over there. But those coaches in high school really showed faith in me and really had a great influence on me. And then here at Fullerton, Coach C, Gary Larson was a big supporter. Walt Simon, those guys were very helpful. And then as I went on to Azusa and Jim Hayford, but in my early days, my high school coaches, those guys were really influential. But I did take their advice, but I did spend a lot of time shooting. I spent a lot of time practicing, and I think that's something you have to understand. I wasn't the best athlete. I was a good athlete, but you have to find your way. And my way was, I knew if I could score, I'd play.
Yeah.
So I made sure that I could, hit shots. So.
You mentioned a name just then. I told you that Corey and I used to do Vanguard University. Walt Simon was a coach at Vanguard University. And basically in our games, Corey gave me all the halftime interviews. And the one thing I could always do with Walt Simon was Corey would bring Walt Simon to the table. Walt would sit down next to me, and I'd say, Walt, how's it going? And 45 minutes later, Walt was done. I didn't have to ask another question. So what was, because I never got to see Walt play, what was Walt like a player and as a friend and a teammate
Well,
to
I
you?
didn't really get to see him play a lot, but I did get to compete with him. I remember having countless ping pong games with him at our team parties. But advice, but also, may not know this, but his son Miles was the 1994
we interviewed him.
MVP. He was a youngster, like 8th grade when I was here. So I remember being in the gym, and I would shoot with him a lot, and he was getting ready to go on to Mater Dei. But I think along with the assistant coaches, Jeff Watts and Larson and Simon, I think he's the leading scorer at Fullerton. So you definitely take the advice from him on, how to get shots. And so he was very helpful in just positioning, coming off screens, being ready to shoot, just those type of things. He was very helpful. Didn't get a chance to see him play a lot, kind of in practice, just messing around, but he was a heck of a basketball player. And like I said, I got to experience, with Miles shooting. He probably doesn't even remember that, but I remember, kind of watching him kind of grow up. And so I've been lucky to have those people around me.
You were a local player in high school. You played at Brea Linda. You had the opportunity to go almost any place you wanted to. Why Fullerton College? Why did you come here to play basketball or get an education?
Well, I know I won't have enough time tonight to talk about what I wanted to talk about, but Coach Johnson at Cypress recruited me.
Oh, okay.
I in high school, I had 36 points against Western, and I had a visit to go to Cypress. I was probably coming to Fullerton, and my brother and I went down there, and the assistant coach didn't show up, and we were pretty upset about it. And so Cypress was a possibility. It was Don Johnson, Fullerton College Hall of Famer. So I would have probably ended up at Fullerton, but that kind of just sealed the deal for me not going to Cypress. But I needed Fullerton College because, I was a decent student, but not a great student. So I needed Fullerton College, and it's a reason Fullerton College is so special to me because it's kind of your get right spot. I just call it, just because get focused, get your life in order. And so I'm glad that I attended here. My sister attended classes here before she went on to Cal State. My wife attended some classes before chiropractic school, but I've just always loved Fullerton, and ties to Fullerton. My son's a Fullerton fireman.
There you go.
My father-in-law was a Fullerton police officer and detective for years. My future daughter-in-law was working at Fullerton. We have a lot of connections.
A lot of Fullerton blood
connection.
blowing.
But
Okay.
I'm very happy. Not just because it was local, but and I really respect Coach C, and just the man he was, and I just. He was very influential to me. So
then you traveled to Azusa Pacific, played in NAIA, did very well there also. The thing that's interesting, again, basketball-wise, again, I'm going to bring up Corey Nail until we get done with this interview. Corey watches NCAA, he watches NAIA. Corey will always watch NAIA and tell me where all these young men go to and play all over the world. Yet we both, because we announced it, it's sort of just as there. Nobody knows about it. So what was your experience in NAIA at Azusa Pacific?
Well, I did get a lot of recruitment, but I had a connection. My brother-in-law, JC, coached at Milliken football when Bill O'Dell was at Milliken. Okay. So when I visited Azusa, I really loved their style of play and the up-tempo. So when I visited there, I had a connection, and they're a very good program. I mean, we didn't lose, I think, to Division II. Mm-hmm. We lost to Washington State. San Diego State wouldn't play us. They rescheduled because we probably would have beaten them. But I was just enthralled with just the program they had, and Bill O'Dell built a very good program there. And when you look at NAIA, we were better than most of Division II schools. So you could say it's NAIA, but we were a very good basketball team, and I was drawn to the style of play and the coaching. And Coach O'Dell was a very, I felt very nurturing coach. I like those coaches that are, coach the whole person. And he was they got the most out of all their players. So and they like to run and gun. They like to get up and shoot the ball.
There you go.
So that was,
the way Corey
that was a little
likes to
connection.
play.
That was a little good connection, and I'm lucky everything fell in place because it was the perfect place for me.
Before I let you go, I'm with Bob Terry, an inductee tonight here at the Fullerton College Hall of Fame ceremony. Before I let you go, basketball coach, you brought up the young kids today. Is there a difference in all these years that you've coached? Have basketball players changed, and is it harder to coach today than it used to be?
Yeah, I mean, kids are kids. I think I'm at the junior high level, so it's a little different. When I watch Fullerton play now, their kids are phenomenal, and the coaches are, the coaches do a great job. I do see a little bit drop off in just work ethic. I think what back in the day, we spent a lot of time, and I'm not saying a lot of these kids, there's a lot less kids that they just think it's going to happen. So I see that, and what I see especially at junior high school is the kids are worried about how they look, looking cool instead of just doing what they need to do, even if it doesn't look pretty. So I've seen a little bit of difference in that. The game's definitely more physical now. I think using contact to get open and get a shot is a lot more prevalent in this game now than it has, but that's been a little bit of change. But kids are kids. I mean, but I do see a little bit of a change. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Bob, for being with
Thank
me.
you.
Congratulations for being
I'm
an inductee.
honored.
We're honored to have you here. And remember, Bob Terry is going to be inducted tonight into the Fullerton College Hall of Fame. A top 90% free thrower, Corey Nalen, as he's standing behind the camera. And as we're going to get ready to go over to James here for a few more interviews here at the Hall of Fame ceremony on Hornet Radio.
Looking back. All right, thank you, Mark. I'm here now with Lynette Velasquez. Lynette, thank you for joining us today.
Hi, James.
All right, so I'm going to go back to the beginning. So when you're at Marina High School, what made you want to come to Fullerton College more than anything else?
Well, there's a negative into a positive story behind that. So Marina High School, I struggled in my grades, and I had many opportunities to go to, top D1 colleges, and didn't make the grade. So I had Norm Perez, who used to work here. He coached my 18 and under travel ball team. He's the one that recruited me to Fullerton College when the grades didn't work out.
Well, that all worked out in the end, right? Your time here at Fullerton led to you getting a scholarship at Oklahoma, playing for Patty Gasso. So I think it was the right decision. So going back to your time at Fullerton, you were a 394 career hitter. You pitched as well, and you were like the ultimate competitor. In the '99 season, you guys were runner-up in state, and you begged for the ball in the semifinal. Where does that competitiveness come from?
I believe it comes from just the drive of wanting to be the best, knowing that you're in the known, and you want to be the best of what everybody sees you, and also you want to be the best for your family, yourself. You want to make a mark. You don't want to lose that competitiveness.
Right. And so when you were here at Fullerton, were there any players on the team or as part of the coaching staff that were like the most like instrumental for you in going to that next level at Oklahoma, or like who was like the most inspiration for you? Was it a teammate, coach?
So I will say I utilized the coaches very much so. They sacrificed their time for me and a lot of bruises because I had Speedy, who is now the head coach. I had Speedy Mendoza pitching to me in the batting cages, and I had Coach Bassie, back then the head coach. She would always hit the balls to me. So it was just drill, 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 drill. Whether it was in the cages or on the field, they were both there for my needs to improve myself, to be whatever I could be the best at myself.
And like we were saying, so sometimes you don't know why things are going to happen. Like you ended up here at Fullerton, but it worked out. What would you say the biggest difference is in community college softball and Division I softball?
The biggest difference? I believe community college softball, you could be as free as you want. It's pretty much you on your own in regards to commitment. You will have the coaches there, and again, if it's your choice to utilize them because they're there for you. They're here for you. That's the difference. Where it's D1, you are on a strict regiment, and you're just work. You got recruited for a reason. You are on that team to produce.
All right, and then when you're done at Fullerton, you go to Oklahoma. How did that happen? Like how did the relationship between you and Patty Gasso go? Like what happened there?
Okay, so Patty Gasso was, I believe she was Long Beach City College coach. Back then, when she was Long Beach City College coach, I was actually in 8th grade, and she saw me at Costa Mesa. I don't know if that was the first time she saw me, but that was the first interaction where she just went up to my mother and introduced herself, and that was just short and sweet. It was nothing else other than she was Long Beach City College. And then it started from there. She just stayed by my side through thick and thin, bad and good. She was there. She never left me.
That's awesome. Yeah, you never know who's watching. Even in the 8th grade, you had people watching, and it turned out for the best because she's one of the best of all time. And so at Oklahoma, you won the Big 12 Player of the Year in '99. You led the league in home runs, but you didn't pitch anymore.
No,
Why? You weren't going to be the Shohei Ohtani 2-sport athlete?
Coach Gasso put me in, I believe it was my freshman year. She put me in one time because she had no choice. And that was the last time she put me in. She was like, no more, you're first.
Were you a fan of being a pitcher, or was it you just wanted to do what you had to do to win?
I wanted to do what I had to do to win, and I didn't care where I played, whether it was first, outfield, or pitcher. I just wanted to be on the field and produce.
All right. Well, I want to thank you again for joining us today. I'm James Spillin alongside Lynette Velasquez, and now we have Caleb Ramos with an interview with Scott Giles. Here you go, Caleb.
Learning more about the inner working of the night, we are now joined by the athletic director for the Hornets, Scott Giles. Now, Scott, thank you for joining us today. And
good to be here.
What is kind of your interpretation of what this night is all about?
It's all about remembering the past, our legacy. We have a strong, rich history of athletics here at Fullerton College, and we're here to highlight our players, our coaches, and our support staff.
Now, what kind of time goes into planning all of this and getting ready for the night with all of those guys coming back?
Yeah, this is our biggest night of the year, outside of maybe a competition. It takes a tremendous amount of work, and we were very fortunate to have a very strong committee and people that have done it before. Phil Thurman has done most of the heavy lifting. I'm there to support and encourage, but we have a really strong committee that made this night um, work out.
Now, what are you kind of most looking forward to seeing during the dinner?
Well, I just like mingling with our former student athletes, our former coaches. So the part I like the most, the planning is hard, it's tedious, it's a lot of hard work putting it together. But the best part is when I show up and I see old friends and talking and hugging and hearing their stories and hearing their memories. So that's the best part of the night for me is just mingling with our former players, coaches, and support staff, and friends of Fullerton College.
Do you have like potentially a favorite memory or story from mingling at all of these past dinners?
Oh yeah, I think I've been to all of them. Maybe I missed one. But our first one, we inducted Hal Scherbeck. That was big for me because that's the first time I met Hal Scherbeck. Um, all I've heard about was Hal Scherbeck, Hal Scherbeck. So that was my first time meeting him. That was a big night. Um, last our last Hall of Fame, we had Nick Viscardo, who was great. I'm good friends with Nick, and hearing his stories, that was a fun night. And we put Tommy Lasorda in. And it was fun to have Tommy Lasorda and his wife here on our campus, and hearing his stories. Um, it just makes you very proud to be a part of Fullerton College athletics and hearing their experiences and what Fullerton College athletics did for them.
Kind of on the topic of what Fullerton College Athletics has done for these athletes and coaches, how much do you think this dinner means to them and the Fullerton College athletic community?
Well, it means a lot to our inductees, and it means a lot to their families. This is a big night for them. And when Phil reaches out to our inductees and tell them they're going in the Hall of Fame, they are overcome with joy and happiness because they know that they can come and celebrate this event with their family. So it's a big deal. It's a big deal for our inductees and their families. And it's a big deal for us as well. But our inductees, whenever we make that phone call saying you've been inducted in the Fullerton College Hall of Fame, they're ecstatic and very thankful and happy.
Now, what are those kind of phone calls like for you on your end? Because you mentioned the athletes being super ecstatic. What's that like hearing that from them?
Well, Phil Thurman, our sports information director, he makes the calls, and happen to be on a couple of calls with him, but the majority of the time he does the calls and reports back. But the phone calls I've been on, I think we reached out to Dieter Horton, and he was thrilled to death to have his state championship and undefeated team inducted into the Hall of Fame. So it's good. It's good phone calls to make. A lot of times in athletics, we have to make hard decisions and tough phone calls and write tough emails. But this is a fun thing. When you call somebody and tell them they're being inducted into the Hall of Fame, they're pretty excited.
Now, obviously, you are very busy just doing your athletic directing. How do you kind of make time for your normal job plus all of this on top of it?
Well, I mean, this is a big event, so you better make time for it. We've worked long hours. I know Phil Thurman has worked a lot of hours putting the book together and the script and contacting the inductees. And so we've all put in a little extra time, but you just make time because we want the event to be successful, and it's going to be successful. We want our inductees to walk away saying, wow, that was really neat. Um, so I've been to a lot of the Hall of Fame, so it's kind of like, okay, it's another Hall of Fame, but you got to look at it in the eyes of our inductees. This is probably their first Hall of Fame they've been to, and we want to make it really memorable for them and for their families.
Now, what kind of work goes into making each individual Hall of Fame dinner special and not just a repeat of the one before it?
Well, honestly, we're following the same guidelines. We always, have a dinner, we have a program. But what makes it different is we're inducting different people and different teams. So that's the unique aspect of it. And today we're in a different location. Last time we were in the North Gym, our main gym. This time we're in the cafeteria. So the setup is a little bit different from time to time. We learned from our past mistakes. If something didn't work out well, then we're going to make those corrections. After the Hall of Fame, we'll sit down and have a little debriefing, what worked, what didn't work, and put those in our notes. So next time we have a Hall of Fame, we avoid some of those mistakes.
Now, why did you guys decide to change from the gym into the cafeteria, and what kind of planning went around changing the guidelines for it, since it's
Well,
a whole different location?
last time we inducted the national championship football team, and so we needed a bigger place. But honestly, the gym just costed. It was a big expense because we had to bring in tables, we had to bring in chairs, we had to bring in tablecloths, we had to bring in a curtain. The food had to get cooked at the cafeteria and then brought over. Logistically, it was really hard. It was a little more expensive.
Now, when you go through all of your past Hall of Fame dinners and the upcoming planning for this one, what is your kind of proudest moment of saying, hey, I made that work, I made it come to fruition?
I don't know if I can use the word I because there's a lot of we. A lot of people have done a lot of heavy lifting. We have a lot of really talented people. Our admins, Michelle Thomason, Sandra Chavez, our faculty, Gita Bevick, Marcia Foster, Phil Thurman. There's a lot of people that have done a lot of lifting. So I don't know if I can single out a thing like it was me. I think we just all collaborate really well together. We work really well together. Everybody has their responsibilities and their tasks. And we've been meeting on a regular basis. As we approach the event, we're meeting weekly to make sure we have everything ironed out. And we had a meeting today prior to coming over here, and we're feeling pretty confident. 2 months ago, we're like, man, there's a lot of loose ends, but today we feel pretty confident that it's gonna go over really well.
We talked to Phil a little bit earlier, and he had also mentioned those weekly meetings leading up to the dinner. What are those weekly meetings kind of like?
Well, we just, if somebody has a question about something, we can answer it together. We're just going through our checklist, making sure everything is taken care of. Um, Obviously, the biggest thing, in my opinion, the biggest thing is weeks weeks before, we had to get this event out. We had to get it out so people could start buying tickets. That was a big deal, is, getting people to come and participate, the families, the friends. That was, not much going on there now with that. What the big thing is just the little details, where are we going to put your TV crew at? What music are we going to play? Um, where are we going to sit certain people at? What's the timing of it? So all the big stuff was taken care of weeks before. Now we're just trying to iron out just some of the little details.
Now, say when your guys are going and something goes wrong, as things
It
often
will,
do
yeah.
with these big productions, how hard is it for you guys to adjust on the fly when stuff like
No,
that
we're good.
happens?
We're good. At the end of the day, we want to make it enjoyable for everybody. So say somebody shows up and their name's on a list. We're not going to panic. We're going to look through and we're going to make sure that that guest feels comfortable, and we'll get them in the right spot in the right place. Um, ah, that's my thing, is we want to make people feel very comfortable, and if somebody was left off the list for whatever reason, we're going to make sure we correct that and accommodate them. I don't see anything. I mean, the food's going to be good. I always worry a little bit about sound, because when we talk about not being able to hear somebody speak, or the music's not right, my biggest fear is. But we've had some sound checks, and that was the problem with the gym. Our our
Hmm.
s- our our uh, our speakers in the gym weren't great. We tried some other speakers, so hopefully our sound check goes well and people can hear, because there's a lot of echoes in that cafeteria.
Right. Now, you had mentioned wanting to make everybody feel comfortable. How do you kind of um, accompany everyone's different like tastes and feelings and make sure that everyone is comfortable, even though they all are very different people?
Well, I think the biggest thing, I mean, they're different, but everybody just likes to be welcomed. You know, a friendly smile, a nice handshake, and a hug. You know, when we see our guests come in, we're going to give them hugs. You know, Dieter Horton's going to come in, and we give each other a hug. You know, we try to wrestle each other a little bit. That's just our way of greeting each other. But we just want people to feel welcomed, and thank you for taking the time and the effort and the energy to come back to campus. And some of these people have to come a long ways. And then, you know, the cost is 175. People had to, you know, come up with some money. So we want to be very gracious and thankful. And so hope that will come across when I go around and greet people and talk to people. Same with Phil, our dean, Dr. Kelly, and others. We just wanted to say, hey, welcome home. Thanks for coming back. And we want to be very thankful and gracious that they have come back and they're willing to come back and participate in our Hall of Fame dinner. I'm just going to try to make everybody feel very comfortable and happy.
Now, you had mentioned saying like, hey, welcome home, welcome back to Fullerton College. How do you kind of make sure that everyone feels like, hey, I'm happy to be back. Like, I really enjoy being here.
Well, I think first of all they're gonna look at the program. They're gonna see themselves in our program. Phil does a great job with the artwork and putting the program together. So if I'm a inductee, the first thing I'm gonna look at, and man, that's a really nice program. I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna say that there's tablecloths on the table. There's um, um, decorations. It looks first class. So as an inductee, I mean the program's great. The atmosphere is great. Marsha Foster, our MC, is going to do a great job of bringing them up and making them feel comfortable and welcomed. So everything's in place for them to have a really neat experience, and then their families are going to be there to enjoy that. So this is going to be it's going to be fun for our inductees, and I know a lot of them have been working on their speech. I mean, it's not super long. We've kind of cautioned them we don't need a 20-minute up there, but I think a lot of them are just going to get up there and be very thankful, and thank their family, thank their coaches, thank their teammates. Um, for putting them in this position.
How you had mentioned like people's families showing up. How do you kind of accommodate for all of those people when it is such a big moment in these inductees' life and you have teams like the 0506 basketball team being inducted this year and kind of accommodate for all of those people and all of their families?
Yeah, so we try to obviously group them together, sit them together. Now, these tables in our dining hall are rectangular tables versus a circular table. And that's what we liked about the event in the gym. We had circular tables so they could sit together at a table. So these tables are a little awkward, but we're going to try to fit everybody together, their families and their friends together, so they can be near each other and talk and share the moment together.
All right, thank you, Scott. And now we go back to the table to hear more from the athletes and those around the Fullerton community. Mark, Ryan, Corey, and Joe, back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Caleb. My name is Thomas Cribbs, and I am joined by my colleague, Peyton Castellanos-Meek, and a very famous person here at Fullerton College, Anne Makanessi. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing pretty great. And just to start off this interview, I would like to bounce off the first question here is, I had a chance to speak to Coach B,
yeah.
And you were just speaking very highly of Coach
Mm-hmm.
B, and she says that you are the reason and the way that people still train today at Fullerton Track and Field. And I was going to ask you, like, do you believe that testament, and like, do you believe in what she says?
Honestly, whatever Coach B says, I believe in anything she says.
So you won back-to-back state titles,
yes,
including with that shot put record of 14.47 meters. How did that make you feel winning those state titles as a huge accomplishment to your career here at Fullerton?
Honestly, it's very humbling because I didn't really want to do track and field. And then Coach B kind of just came and she was like, you're actually pretty good. So I guess actually winning first back-to-back, like, it's a pretty big accomplishment. But I guess, yeah, just humble, grateful for the opportunity.
It is completely surprising hearing an athlete say that they have zero passion for it. Like it was only the coach that was keeping you in the game.
Yes.
Like that's so rare to hear. And
Yeah.
like, it's kind of awesome to to have that type of leadership quality within a coach. And kind of going back to the records here, you still have records that are standing like
Yes.
15 years later. Like you kind of hold that as like a badge of honor. And do you, whenever someone breaks it, are you kind of like going to usher in the new era of track and field for Fullerton?
Like I can't wait for someone to break it. Like it was fun when I broke it when I was here, but I'm hoping that Coach B can get somebody that can actually break my record. Yeah.
Speaking of Coach B, like she's a really famous coach here at Fullerton. How has her impact really helped you become who you were as a track and field star?
So she for sure helped me learn how to actually drill and work out. Like coming from Loera and Catella, the coaches there weren't really fond or really good about coaching, but she like did fundamentals. Like she would have us drill and she would explain it step by step, and it just made sense to me instead of just going to the workout, like going to the weights and doing all that stuff. But there was actually purpose behind every single thing she did.
I apologize. So for you also have like a personal best for a 45-meter hammer throw. That is so far, and I couldn't toss a hammer 45 meters. I just want to know, like, what's the technique in going into that, and like, how do you conjure so much power?
Honestly, hammer is like my least favorite because if I let it go in the net, it's gonna like fall back at me. I don't know. It's just Coach B. She just has a way of like going step by step to teach me how to go farther, and then just being explosive at the end.
Okay, so yeah, it's like all in the hips.
Yeah, and then the footwork. You have to place it right. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, too, because as a former track and field star myself, it takes a lot of technique to throw stuff like the shot put, the discus, the hammer throw, and the javelin, because all in the technique in a sort of way. What was your way of form to help you throw far in those events?
I think Coach B would always tell me to look at the focal points. And so just remembering to look at it, and as I look at it, I can go ahead and just like automatically. But I think the drills that we did every single day helped me like remember it and my muscle memory. And so then when it came down to the competition, it was just like breathing.
Yeah, it was just basically trust what your coach said and just follow through formation.
Yep,
like that.
Yeah, you're saying like these steps. I'm not a track and field person whatsoever. You can look at me and tell. So what are those steps? What are you particularly focusing on fundamental wise?
So there's a reason. So in high school, I thought we just went to the weight rooms just to get stronger, but then there were specific like movements that would encourage like the strength of certain muscles that would help us be able to throw it, or like even just the like how fast you twist your hips. Like it was just, I don't know. It wasn't until I came to Fullerton College and I came to Coach B that I realized that there's more to track and field than just throwing a heavy ball.
This is going to be our last question for you. Do you want to take a peek?
Yeah, so between shot put, discus, hammer throw, and javelin, which one was your favorite out of all of them?
So shot put was my favorite because I was more still. As for discus and hammer, there was a lot of spinning, so I didn't feel as much control as shot put.
Yeah. That is all we have for you. I want to thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
so
us.
much.
Thank you. And we do have James with another interview.
Still in here alongside. Oh. All right, and I'm James Spillin. I'm here alongside Dear Horton, the head coach of the 05-06 championship team. Dear, thank you for joining us today, and congratulations on this honor.
Oh, it's great. It's great to be back home. I'm a Hornet, and I've been since a child, so for me, this is a blast.
All right. So that season, what was the main the biggest key to that team going undefeated at 37-0?
It was honestly a little bit of accidental genius. The year before we had a really good year. We got lucky in recruiting. One of the things that we really were fortunate is we had a kid sitting out the year before who ended up becoming one of the best point guards in the nation, if not the best point guard in the nation, Corey McIntosh, who was the state player of the year. So that was kind of the catalyst. We got really lucky with a few transfers that had transferred in. A kid, Sean Failer from University of New Mexico. And we had a core group that was returning, and for some reason they just meshed. And the other thing we had incredible leadership, just an insane leadership by Corey, Rod, and some of those guys. And so it was just something that was like the perfect storm that had hit for that group. And they were unwavering in everything they did. And everything I threw at them, they literally answered the call.
Yeah, coaching is like kind of like put together a puzzle, right? Especially even at the community college level where you only have them for 2 years. Was there a moment in that season where you saw that this is going to be a special team?
There was probably two. One was the game at Irvine Valley. I think we were 28, maybe 29-0, and I thought they had us. And at the end of the game, I kind of did something crazy. I actually had it in my mind that maybe if we had lost, it would have been a good thing, and maybe it would have kept us focused. So I did something, honestly, a little crazy and stupid. It was about 3 minutes to go in the game, and I'll never forget it. And I called a timeout, and I told the guys, I'm done. I'm not coaching the rest of the game. You guys are on your own. I think we were down 4 at the time, something like that, with like 3 minutes to go. And my guys got a little upset at me. And next thing you know, I think we won like a 12-1 run. And next thing we won the game. And I looked at my assistant after the game, Chris Malloy, who was my right-hand man. I went, ooh, I didn't expect that to happen. And that's when I think right then we went, oh, maybe we can do this after that game.
So yeah, so sometimes you gotta risk it to go special and be 37-0.
I got lucky. I'll tell you what, I got lucky. Sometimes you just got to get lucky.
Right. And so that 37-0 season was a part of a 50-game winning streak for here at Fullerton College, which broke the previous winning streak record, which was 42. What do you think you think that record will ever be beaten?
Well, that's a great question. Yeah, I was lucky enough to run off 50 in a row, and that was something that it was blessed to be able to have that opportunity. And I mean, it had been 40 years prior to that. It's all records are meant to be broken. It's a matter of time, and the fact that it's lasted 20 years. I mean, I am elated with that. And my assistant Chris Malloy, who will be here today, he reminds me every year when somebody loses or doesn't go undefeated or that streak. He sends me a text message. Sooner or later, I'm going to get the text message say, "Hey, somebody won 51 in a row," and then good for them.
Right. And that season was 20 years ago now. Do you still stay in touch with these players, or how is that relationship?
Absolutely. I mean, there's some of the guys. I mean, we've got guys scattered all over the winds. I have my state playoff MVP, he's coaching in China. My four-man, Sean, he's in North Carolina. My point guard, he's a high school coach in Michigan. But we do stay connected. I mean, my 10th man, John Butler, he's an NBA official. We're lucky he's going to be here tonight because he didn't get picked up for the NBA playoffs, so he's actually going to be here tonight. So, I run into some of my guys all the time. It's such a unique experience, and it's such a one-in-a-million experience that we will forever be bonded. I just saw Kurt Graber, and it was like, I had just seen him yesterday.
Right. That's awesome. These relationships you're building when you're a coach at a community college, they last forever. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So one last question here before I shoot it back over to Corey. So after you left Fullerton, you went to Cal State LA. Right? Am I correct on that?
So I left Fullerton. We had won in 2006, and I went to Antelope Valley College for 4 years right after we had won it. Spent 4 years at Antelope Valley College, and then I went to USC for 4 years, which was an incredible experience, coaching in the Pac-12. I learned a lot. And then after that, I went and was the head coach at Cal State LA, which was one of my favorite jobs at Cal State LA. And then after 25 years of coaching college basketball, I just kind of said, all right, enough's enough. And I got out of it. And so for the last 8-9 years, I've been out of it. And it's put a lot of years back in my life, I can tell you what. And I'm glad I'm out of it now because the way the game has changed is very different. And I don't know if it's something I like the way it was.
All right, Coach, I want to thank you again for being with us, and congratulations to that team. And have a good night tonight.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you very much.
All right. And I'll now shoot it over to... All right. I'm going to ask you one more question. Can I ask you one more question?
Ask me as much as you want.
So you've been off for like the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
And you say it's added life to your...
it's added years to my life, no doubt.
What do you like to do now?
Spend with my family. Basketball is the worst season of all sports because it encompasses Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and it's brutal. And so from that standpoint, my wife and I, we love to travel now. I actually know what Christmas is, and that was a unique experience. My first couple of Christmases, I really felt weird because I felt like before I was practicing on Christmas Day, like when I was at USC, I had back-to-back Christmases where literally Christmas night I'm practicing. I mean, there was no life. So from that standpoint, it's nice to be able to have weekends. I think my record when I was at USC, I worked 174 days in a row one time, and it was just on accident. It was just the way the schedule happened, and that's not a way to live.
No.
So now my wife and I, we love to travel. My daughter is a cheerleader, and we support her in everything that she does. My son's a firefighter, and we travel, and we just do a lot of fun things now because we don't have the stress that hold us down like with basketball.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. All right, thank you for being with us. I appreciate it, and congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
All right, and now I'm going to shoot it over to Corey Nalen.
Still here, folks, and it's a joy. Thomas Cribb is along with me. I'm Corey, by the way. We want to thank everyone for joining us thus far on the table, and with James, with Tommy, with Peyton, with Travis, Ryan, and what's the other guy's name? I forget his name sometimes. Mark. That's right, Mark. We're here with the legend, Nick Fuscardo. And, Nick, we've known you for a long time.
I didn't hear you in here.
So we've known you here for a long time, and we're going to talk about. Nick can't hear us. How's that?
Hello?
A little bit better?
Yeah, it's good.
All right, there we go. Okay. So, Nick, we talk to you every Hall of Fame, every year about something. We talk baseball. We talk you're into softball now. What do you want to talk about?
I just talk about the importance of this institution. Fullerton College is like, it's like home. It's like home to me. Now, let me tell you a little story. My wife and I, we just got married. We came out to Orange County, got a job at Troy High School. So we went to, my next door neighbor said, "You got to go to the Hornet game?" And I said, "What?" And so, okay, I went to a Hornet game. So, but one night I was at, and I saw all the coaches come up at a Troy High School. They were recruiting. They had, and I could tell you what they were wearing. They had a gold sweater on, a white shirt, and blue slacks. And I said, "Who are those guys?" It was Coach Sherbeck, Coach Fiola, Coach Sampson, Coach Thomas, Coach Jess, and it was like awesome. And I thought, I want to be on that staff. And so it was. I always loved it. And we started coming to every Saturday games, you know, and it was a thrill. They were the best show in town, you know. So any rate, and when I was at Troy, I got fortunate enough to coach over there, and we had some successes. And so Coach Mike Scoba was the skipper here, and he said, "I want you to come over and help me." So he hired me to come over. So I worked for the greatest coaching staff, and the thing about it is, it's like that was like over 40 years ago, and it's still, the school is still special, and not only special to me, but anybody who have any kind of association. So with you guys are like
been here for
legendary, and you guys are, you know, it's so good to see you always.
Yeah, and it's like you were saying, the old guy, you know, Mark. It's great to learn under the legs of Corey and Mark, and and hearing them, you know, talk you up all the time as well. But you know, kind of diving into Fullerton College. I'm not a Fullerton native. I'm not even a California native. What would you say is like your just downright just favorite experience, favorite moment during your time with all of Fullerton College?
Coaching?
Just coaching.
I had a lot of them, but one I could always remember is we played in the toughest conference in America. I mean, it was like every game was a battle, you know. So we win the title, and we were playing here against Buck Taylor, who was the head coach down at down San Diego, and we had a ball breaker going on, and we ended up winning it, and all I wanted was, I saw my kids, and they were so excited. They ran out to the mound, and they had a dog pile. And they were just excited, and I stood on the side and just watched them. And maybe it was you guys, somebody said, "Coach, how come you didn't get in on that dog pile?" And I said, because I just sucked all that in. I just enjoyed it so much. It was the best moment in my life, watching our guys celebrate going to the state championship and by winning a Southern California title. That was a great one. And so, yeah.
And you yourself, you're in the Hall of Fame, deservedly so. What do you tell the other Hall of Fame members when they get inducted?
It's overwhelming, because if you look at those names on there, it's like, holy moly, there's some the coaches for one, Coach Sherbeck, and I'm in a Hall of Fame with Coach Sherbeck, and it is just it's overwhelming, and whenever they said you're in, and I said, no, there's other guys out there, and they said, no, you're going in, and I said, and I've never been more appreciative in my life, and so I always, in fact, I have a shirt at home that said Hornet Hall of Fame. I told my wife, I said, think I should wear that? Will that be showing off? She goes, wear it. And so I said, and I think it's like a double XL, and I've lost a bunch of weight. And that thing, I would have looked like the guy on Big,
No, it's something you need to wear, because we've talked and we tell stories in class all the time about being around Fullerton College and what you said. It's a family, it's home. But it's really more than that once you get involved in a situation like this. And Thomas, you're getting involved in this now in the Hall of Fame ceremonies, and you're talking to legendary coaches that you really don't know how crucial they are, like you, to the fundamentally baseball, your game, and basketball, whatever, the impact that they've had. Can you tell me anything about the impact that the players, specifically, could be one, could be all, that's had on you?
It's truly been a blessing. There are kids. We had so many kids go through our program, and whenever I see them, I call them kids, and now they're like, some are like 60 years old, and I show my kids, and so it's awesome. And not only that, but like umpires, other coaches, the relationship we made. I'll tell you a funny story. My granddaughter plays softball, so Susan and I go to watch them play. So I'm sitting in the stands, and as umpire, my granddaughter's a catcher. Boom, she catches the ball, and the umpire goes, ball. And I go, diamond cutter. And so every time he called a ball, so the inning was over, and he walks over, and he's looking at me, and I'm looking at him, and he starts smiling. And I said, I knew him. He was an umpire that I had.
Right.
He's like, got something for you, Coach. And he says, so he sent me a video of our game against Santa Ana. I'm coaching third. I'm waving a guy home. And he goes down. He slides in. I go, he's safe. And he goes, he's out. Come on. And so I hollered at him, and I threw my hat down. I said, did you run me that game? He goes, oh, no, Coach. He goes, you're my favorite coach. I would never run you, So you make a relationship. I mean, my friend Kerry, we go out, and he says, who are you going to know today? I said, I don't know. And I might see you, and we give a hug, and what happens in your heart just opens up, and you get all your friends, and it's all because of this place, We have our dinners here.
Right.
This thing, we had Gary Carter, Tommy Lasorda, Bert Blyleven, we had Troy Percival. We could go on and on, but all those people, and nobody's ever forgotten Fullerton College.
Yeah, and you talk about no one ever forgets Fullerton College. That motto, once a Hornet, always a Hornet,
True.
I'm going to say it started, Tommy, here at Fullerton. But now every other school that you go to will have once a Lancer, always a Lancer.
That's true. That's so true.
It started here at Fullerton with coaches, and not just coaches, and Mark says educators, not just educators, just people like you, Nick, like the Sherbecks, like the Dieter Hortons that we were talking to, that we pulled you over. Sorry about that. We took them away from you.
Yeah.
Like you and this staff and Scott and Phil. What is it that makes us keep wanting to come back besides being a family, besides all the good atmosphere? And you've been on every Hall of Fame thing, so we're not going to break that record, break it now. But what else is it about Fullerton College?
Well, it's really hard to explain, but probably the most basic thing I can say is it's like we're family. I mean, we're a family. You're part of my family. You're part of my family now. And when we see each other, I was raised in an Italian family, and my grandmother had like 9 kids, and we had 100 cousins and stuff. But we were taught respect. And the one thing I want to say is that really of importance is unfortunately, you didn't get a chance to meet this guy. His name was Hal Scherbeck. He was our athletic director, football coach, the greatest football coach in America. He did everything. He was like every administrative job he did. He was here like 5 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, and because he wanted to be a success. And working for him, I was overwhelmed, by how good he was. And one day, our team was struggling, and I was at a standstill, and I went into my office, and Coach was in there. I said, Coach, you got a minute? And he said, come in here, Nick. So I sat down. He said, what's up? And I said, Coach, I don't know what to do. I said, I've tried everything. I can't get it figured out. He said to me, here's the greatest coach in America. He says to me, Nick, I come out and watch you practice. He said, you're doing all the right things. He said, you're communicating with your players, blah, blah, blah. In the ball games, I come out and watch your ball games. He said, guy will make an error. It's out of your hands. You worked it. So here I was. I got that kind of advice from a great man like that, and I thought to myself, that's how I want to be. So we try to be good with all of the people.
And you got a question, Tom?
Yeah. Kind of like speaking on that like sense of family and that sense of unity. Even here tonight, we have a whole basketball team being inducted, the 2005-2006 basketball team. But kind of just going down the lineup of the Hall of Fame inductees, is there anyone tonight that you specifically would like to highlight?
I'll tell you, David Shaw. You want me to tell you David Shaw's story? I was at Troy High School, and I was a baseball coach there. And I put on a morning announcements, baseball tryouts on Monday, open tryouts. And so I was in my office, and this kid comes in, got crutches. He walks in my office. He goes, hey, Skipper. I said, what's up, son? He said, I saw you have tryouts on Monday. I said, I do. He says, I was thinking about coming out. And I said, well, come out. And he says, really? I said, yeah. So he comes out to the field. I said, don't be late. And he said, I won't be. So he has on an Angel uniform. And he comes out. And I said, what position do you play, Meat? He said, I pitch. I said, well, go get loose. He goes, I'm already loose. And so I said, well, get out there and let's see what you got. So he goes out to the mound, and he plants himself below the mound, and he starts throwing. And he kept throwing, and I thought, I'm going to let him do it as long as he wants to go. And then I go up to him, and I said, hey, Meat. I said, do you do something I don't know? He goes, what do you mean? I said, are we pitching from down here or up on the rubber? He goes, you want me to go up there? And I said, that's where it all starts. And he goes, so he goes up there, and he was throwing. And he throws about 4 or 5 more, and he goes, Skipper, I think my tryout's over. And I said, you had enough? He goes, I have. I said, well, let me tell you something, son. I put my arm around him, and I said, you see all those kids out there? They're in awe of you. They're in awe of you for what you just did. They wouldn't have never done that. You did it, and I'll always respect you for that. So that kid deserves a lot, and he loves his Fullerton Hornet is deep in his heart. If you open him up, it'd be blue and gold.
One of the reasons why he's here today, being honored in the Fullerton College Hall of Fame.
I might say that story tonight.
You should.
I think that'd be cool. Huh?
That would be great.
Okay.
Nick, we're gonna let you go. Enjoy the camaraderie with everyone else. Once again, this is Nick Fuscardo,
thanks, Corey.
the legend.
Love you.
Tommy,
so thanks, buddy. I'll see you again, all right?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Thanks.
And we'll go ahead and take that off. Make as much noise as you want. You keep those on, Tommy. We're just going to pontificate a little bit. We're going to let you get on out of here and discuss. So what do you think so far, Tommy, about this event?
I mean, I think it's an outstanding event. I've never really been to anything like this, I've only been to military balls, and besides that, no really type of formalities. So it's nice.
Well, speaking of formality, we're going to take it on over to Ryan Osborne. Ryan?
Thank you, Corey. I appreciate it. So far here at the 2026 Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony, you've heard from some of the inductees that are coming up. You just heard from Tommy, you just heard from Corey talking to Nick Fuscardo, who seems like he's been around here for quite a while because he has had the opportunity to really look at almost all the inductees here throughout each and every induction ceremony and see what the Fullerton College legacy is like. And why? That's because he's been a part of it. He himself, being a legendary Fullerton College head coach of the baseball team for quite a long time, he is part of that Fullerton College legacy. So as this night continues to progress, and again, I'm Ryan Osborne, joining you live here at the 2026 Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony. But as this night continues to progress, in just a little bit, we're going to have some more interviews coming your way as we get closer to the induction ceremony itself. And the main thing about the induction ceremony, what you're going to hear from, or excuse me, who you're going to hear from, is Marsha Foster, one of the former women's basketball coaches here at Fullerton College, who in and of herself had an excellent career here as a Hornet. You're going to hear from her as she is the MC for the night, and she will be helping introduce each of the people who will be welcoming each of these inductees in just a little bit. Now, that is slated to start at 6 p.m. Everyone is making their way into the building and getting re-familiar with everyone from their past, and also connecting with other Fullerton College alumni and legacy as well. But that ceremony is slated to start at 6 p.m. As soon as it does start up, we're going to send it live to the induction ceremony, and we'll stick with it throughout the remainder of the ceremony itself. When it comes back, we're going to talk a little bit about what impressed us the most, who impressed us the most in terms of the induction, but we're also going to have an opportunity to really tell you who we think should be in the next Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction, because myself, Corey, Mark, we've been here for a little while. We've also had some people come across this Fullerton College athletic timeline while we have been here that we feel are very worthy of going out and becoming Fullerton College Hall of Famers. You look at teams like that 2016 Fullerton College football team, the 2017 Fullerton College football team, the 2014 Fullerton College water polo team that ended up going undefeated in state and won a state championship. You could even go to 2019 as well for that water polo team and go right back to another state championship as well. So there are a lot of different people across Fullerton College who we think are very worthy of being inducted into the Hall of Fame, and we're going to give you a chance to really kind of look at the different options that are there in terms of who we think could possibly go into the next induction ceremony and have their chance of becoming Fullerton College Hall of Famers. So again, in just a little bit, we're going to have the ceremony, but before we get there, we're going to remind you that you are currently here on Hornet Radio. And here on Hornet Radio, it's all about making sure that the students of the CRTB 145 class, 146 class, and 147 class, that's our sports broadcasting class, have an opportunity to learn what it's like being out at a broadcast, what it's like bringing you an event just like what you're watching here tonight. So you're going to hear from more of them in just a little bit as we're going to go over to the table in a few moments. Again, you're watching the 2026 Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony. We are in the interview phase of things. James Spillin is going to be the one who is going to give you that next interview, and that's coming up in just a couple of moments. So as we get set to toss it over to the table, we've got James, we've got Peyton in just a couple of seconds. In fact, you know what? Let's send it over to James as he gets set for his interview here on the 2026 Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony. James, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Ryan. I'm James Spillin. I'm alongside Manny Farrows and Peyton Castellanos-Meek. First off, congratulations on this great honor. Peyton, what do you have to say?
So first of all, I want to say congratulations on the 05-06 season going 37-0. What was that moment like when you guys won all that year?
It was one of the most memorable moments in my life, to be honest with you. I remember exactly every kind of moment and day about that trip to Fresno. It was special, man. It was special to be with these guys. I've never grown closer to a group of guys over 10 months, right? It's not even a full year sometimes. And like the how close we got together as friends and as brothers, man, it was something special. So it was a really good moment, man. It was memorable for sure.
That's the beauty of community college sports, right? Like, you're only here 2 years, but those bonds you build, they last forever.
Right.
Like Coach Horton was saying that he still is in touch and knows what everybody's been doing all these years.
Yeah. What was different about us is everybody transferred in for that 1 year almost. You know what I mean? So it was like even a shorter span.
And that's what Coach Horton was saying. He was saying it was like the puzzle pieces just fell into place.
Yeah.
Like they just happened to work perfectly.
Yep.
What part of that season do you remember the most? Like, was there like a moment that like you knew that this was the team that was going to go undefeated, or like a specific moment?
I think it was. I don't think it was one specific moment. I think it was the practices. I mean, even playing under Horton, I learned so much. He taught us so much as basketball players, and then the way he ran practice. I mean, it was, it felt as high level of basketball as you could imagine, And I think that was the biggest thing. It was the practices, the daily weightlifting, the team meetings, all that stuff. And I think that's what it was about,
Let's play guys like Corey McIntosh and Tim Denson and Michael Earl. How were their impacts to you really impactful during that season?
It made me realize D1 was tough because those guys are really good. And Tim Denson was special. He was so strong. Corey McIntosh, super athletic, quick, fast. I mean, you couldn't keep the guy in front of you. Earl was obviously a talented 6'9" kid, So it just made you realize how good some basketball players really were.
So when you look back at that team, who was like the leader, like the vocal leader on that team?
I mean, Corey, the point guard, of course, but then you have my boy Rod Loke. Rest in peace to Roderick Johnson. He had a special story to tell. He overcame a lot, and he definitely was one of the main leaders, vocal leaders as well. Between Rod and Corey, probably the two guys right there.
So this is a big day just to honor him as well.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Rest in peace, my brother Rod.
Absolutely.
Also, what was Coach Horton's team philosophy to you guys during that season to help you guys get to where you were?
Well, all over our jerseys and warm-ups and our tights, we had one written everywhere, the word one, because we would just want to do everything as one. So I think that was a big thing, do everything for each other, and I think ultimately that was like the biggest thing.
So Coach Horton was telling me about a moment where you guys were playing Irvine Valley, and he basically told you guys were down by like 8 points or something like that, and he told you that I'm done coaching you guys. I'm not coaching this game. Do you remember that moment, and what was that like?
I do remember that. He was so pissed off, and he said, I'm done with you guys. I think the guys got together, and sure enough, obviously pulled it off. But I think that just goes back to the preparation. The guys were prepared. The coach had them prepared, so it was nothing.
That's funny because he said that it made you guys mad as well.
So if you had to go back to that season, what was like the biggest memories you had other than the championship win?
Hanging out with the boys. Hanging out, I was walking up with C. Nice, Carlton, and talking about being here on campus. I remember those days, the lunchtime campus, being on campus, jumping on the vans across the street, getting the vans across the street, going to get chicken bowls, Chipotle. Chipotle was barely opening down the street. So all those little things, just hanging out with the guys.
All right. I want to thank you again and congratulate you on this great night. And congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
And now I'm going to shoot it over to Ryan Osborne. Ryan?
Thank you very much, James. As we take a look at the 2026 Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony, in just a couple of seconds, I'm going to be joined by Corey Nalen and Mark Pavlovich, the voice of Fullerton College and of the Hornets for the last 26 years, and Corey Nalen, who has been almost an equal amount of time here at Fullerton College as the color commentator for your Fullerton College Hornets. They'll join me in just a second, but just a few moments ago, you heard from Manny Fierros, part of that 05-06 Fullerton College undefeated state championship run program for the men's basketball team here at Fullerton once again. Actually, it's going to be James who will join Mark and Corey in just a couple of moments. And actually, if I remember correctly, guys, you look at everyone here at the Hall of Fame ceremony, and it seems like every single time we walk up to a group, it's like we know 3 or 4 people in that group. And it's not just because we've been here for a while, but it's because we have had the opportunity to really intermingle with a lot of these Fullerton College legends. Mark, you look at your time here at Fullerton, you have seen quite a few Hall of Fame ceremonies, but it's always a joy to be able to find that one person, that one athlete that you say, I wonder what it was like for that guy going out of Fullerton College, and you get to reunite with them here.
It's real difficult. There we go, Ryan Osborne. Now you know when it's talking. Of course, talking about athletes, I just had one show up here, the head coach of Fullerton College softball. Speedy's going to come on the air with James and I, because Speedy's going to come on the air. And, when I talk about some of my favorite people, Ryan Osborne, I've got this young woman sitting next to me who is probably the most talented, James, and I've known Speedy for a lot of years, married for a lot of years, the most talented coach in the OEC, and probably the kindest coach, along with Crystal, in the OEC. And this is what makes somebody like her a special coach that everybody wants to play for, because the kindness is not only about the game of softball, It's about the woman you are
Thank
and
you.
the educator you are.
Thank
and,
you very
and-
much.
And let's go right to there.
Thank you very much.
We know you're a coach first.
Yes.
But let's talk about you as the woman dealing with young women today in a very still anti-female society.
Yes.
And I want to know, what do you preach to your young women to get them to the next level besides just winning at softball?
You know, it's all about believing in themselves, trusting themselves, and fighting for it. Keep going. You know, we just had a situation that's been on social media. I'm not sure if you follow me or not, but we had a kid that committed to Fullerton College from a high school, West Covina High School, and they didn't do a signing party for her because she was going JC. I'm not okay with that. So we went to highest. Today I got a phone call from the West Covina Board of Education saying we are not going to allow that. This will not happen. And they know me. So they said we can't rectify because it's already happened, but we can rectify from future. And I said, okay, as long as you can give me that in your word, I will post it, because we have Brad Pickler on board. I have so many junior college coaches on board about this. About those kids work just as hard as anybody else. And our JC, tonight I got to say this, tonight we're honoring Lynette Velasquez, a junior college player that went on to Oklahoma and did big things there, great things there. I have a text message from Patty Gasso I will share with you. A text message from her husband who worked here saying that, I can't believe this is happening, but I'm glad you're fighting for these girls. To me, it's important because, you know, it doesn't matter what level you're at, but you're a female, you're working hard, you're doing everything that the Division I, Division II doesn't matter, but they do the same stuff. And so I got that information, and I was like, okay. And I talked to the superintendent, Emmy Flores. Emmy, if you're watching this, I have your back, lady. We're good about this, because her daughter is also a JC product that went to Mount Sac. So she's trying to make changes, and that's what I'm all about. You know, everybody deserves an opportunity.
James, she just brought up somebody you interviewed, so I'm going to let you talk to her because you had the pleasure of talking to the young woman she just mentioned.
Yeah, and that's awesome that you're doing that. And when I talked to Lynette earlier, when I asked her who her most influential people were here at Fullerton, you were the first one on her list. So these things that you're doing, they don't go unnoticed. She appreciates you a lot.
Thank you. And I always wish you can hear the stories of some of these kids that come in here. You know, kids have lost their parents, kids that have academic issues, but the one thing that we try to do is encourage them, hey, you're not a product of you can change your environment, you can change whatever happens, but you have to be bought in. And I think that's the one thing at Fullerton College is we try to get them bought into our culture, understand that when we say we love you, and we're going to find a way to connect at some level. So I love my coaching staff. They do a great job. Lynette Velasquez, she was one of my first years, and believe me, I'm going to tell you this, she was damaged. She'd hit the ball so hard, I'd try to bargain with her. Hit off Coach Bassey, don't hit off me. And she's like, oh no, Coach, I'm hitting off you. I'm like, ugh, because she would hit us, like literally aim for us. When she got her scholarship to Oklahoma, I thought she was going to do great thing. I knew she would do great. Sisters, I have 2 sisters and a brother here tonight, and we were on her guest list. Like, I want you to be here. Your family's been very influential, and you know, her family, we're close. Yes.
You know, you and Crystal have been the forerunners of promoting women's sports, along with a lot of the other coaches in the OEC. And I've got to ask you now, where are women's sports going? Corey and I just did flag football for the OEC. Are women's sports on the uptick? Because Corey's been one of those that isn't a gender guy. He loves women's sports. Don't get me wrong when I say that. But he looks at you as all athletes. He doesn't break it down. So where are women's sports going as far as you're concerned from a coaching point of view?
I feel like we're in an up and coming. I feel like we're in a great position when you see the WNBA and those salaries. I have a friend's daughter that played for the Washington Mystics. She went overseas to play for Perez, and now she's coaching in the WNBA. And she even said, I could never imagine 15 years ago when I was playing from UC Santa Barbara and having to travel to Russia to play overseas. And now these women are making in the 6 digits. And so now it's like, it's very nice to see. And I love that. So I'm not just softball. I'm all about all female sports. And, you know, building them up, character, be strong. our biggest thing is like we're strong, independent young women, and you can do this.
Yeah, and you make a perfect point too, because like the WNBA, like it's huge now,
Yes.
and I think that's going to start happening in all sports, because the world is we're getting there, but it's like the little things
Yes.
that you're doing. The little things turn into big things, and then they get noticed.
I'm huge on that. That's our thing is little things create big things,
Right.
and we have to stand very strong. I'm a very strong woman. That's just the one thing. I was raised by my mother, single mother, 5 kids, and she just raised us very like. I was sharing actually with Crystal the other day. When I was 5 years old, my mother bought me a shirt, had it made, special made, and it says, "I'm Marion, and I'm number 1 in every sport," and I wore that proudly. I was telling Coach Crystal this. The other day, it showed up on social media, and I'm like, "Oh my God, there's my picture. There's the one I wanted to share with my coaches because I haven't seen it for a long time because I couldn't find the picture." And there I am with a navy blue shirt, khaki shorts, and long blue socks with that reading on there. And I tell my kids, it's important to me because I had a mother that was very strong, raised strong women.
I'm going to cut James off, and then I'll let you get in there again. But out of all the years that you've played,
yes,
all the years that you've coached, I'm going to put you on the spot now
Okay.
because I do it to Corey Nalen all the time. All the time. Who's your favorite softball player, women-wise, naturally? We're not going to do men. The heck with the men. We don't care about you men that play softball, okay?
I'm going to go old school. So old school. Just growing up, Liz Mazzara, shortstop out of Pacifica High School.
Liz Mazzara, shortstop out of Pacific High School. Pacifica High School.
One of the best. And then after that, like I have a lot of people I really love. I'm super good friends with, like, I'll be honest, I love Leo O'Brien. She is just like one of my Crystal Bustos. Her cousin is one of our.
Do you see who keeps sneaking in to hear who you're saying, Corey Nalen? Because he's he's softball family.
Okay.
He grew up in softball. His cousin is one of the top softball players
Natasha
all the
Watley,
time.
Who's your cousin? Okay. Yes.
So
there's a lot of great women, I'll be honest. There's a lot that I love and respect, and I think they have the same for me. I see it on my social media page. They're always like, "Hey, congratulations, do this." And I think for me personally, I just really love people. You know, I love him. When I see him, I'm like, dude, I love seeing him.
Yep.
I respect him. I respect what he does, what he teaches. These guys, I really love them. I think that what they came out to do, it inspires because they're not just looking at the male sports.
Mm-hmm.
They're looking at females like, hey, you guys got this. And your guys have been so great. Come in our dugout. Our assistant coaches feel awesome about themselves. They're like, whoa, I've never been interviewed before. So all these things are just very inspiring for women's sports.
I'll let you finish with the last question.
All right,
Sure.
I'm going to go back to a couple of questions ago when you were talking about the number 1, like I am the number 1.
Yeah.
That's funny you say that because when I was interviewing Lynette, she said the same thing, and she said she got it from you. So it's just it's crazy. You were very influential in her time here, and she made it very clear that in her interview.
I love that kid.
Yeah.
I love her. Like, she's like a little sister. I would say little sister because we're about closer in age than everything, but I love her. I love her family. There's so many things I can say about her, and I'm very honored and proud to be here tonight with my family because our families have been very close. So my brother's here tonight. I have 2 sisters here tonight to honor her.
That's awesome.
Well, I tell you what, if you're watching right now here at this ceremony at Fullerton College and you've got a young daughter that plays softball, I love all my OEC coaches.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. So does Mr. Nalen. But if you want 2 young women that can guide your daughter to the next level, get her to that place that she can fulfill her education, have her dreams come true, you need to come to Fullerton College.
Yes.
To this lady here, we all call her Speedy. Crystal is with her as coach. Not only are they great coaches, not only do they understand softball, not only do they understand sports in general, but they understand the love for education and getting to that next realm. And yes, Mr. Title IX, Corey Nalen, she loves you too because
I
you
do.
promote women's sports,
Yes.
and that's where Speedy comes from.
Thank you very
so
much.
let's say goodnight tonight for Speedy and James, and I'm going to head over to Ryan Osborne. Ryan, we just got one done with Speedy. Now we're taking it to you.
Yes, Ryan.
Well, thank you very much, Mark. Mark, honestly, if you want to stay there for a little bit, okay, you know what? Never mind. We're just going to keep it over with me for now. As we get set for the Hall of Fame induction ceremony in just a few moments, you just heard from Speedy Mendoza here for Fullerton College, who has consistently been one of the greatest softball coaches in the entire Southern California area. Now, if you're looking at it for Fullerton College and you're thinking to yourself, man, I want to turn the iris over to my right-hand side, well, you can do exactly that, because you're thinking to yourself, also if you're behind the camera, you're saying, all right, I want this induction ceremony to go off well, because it's all about legacies here tonight. Fullerton College, with their legacy, it's been a big emphasis for this program for a long time. And the main thing for this program, when you talk about legacies, is each of the coaches who has impacted these players year in and year out. Over to my left is Mark Pavlovich. He knows about the coaching staffs that he has encountered here at Fullerton College. Mark, since you are still here on the air with me over to my left, I want to talk about coaching staffs for a second. I know we're going to get to more of a reveal of a coach that you believe will be or should be inducted into the Hall of Fame in a little bit. That's later on in the ceremony. But speak to the coaching staffs that have really, truly made an impact on your experience here at Fullerton College.
Okay, well, let me start with tradition. I got to say Hal Scherbeck. I had the pleasure of meeting Hal Scherbeck more than once. And James, when I met Hal Scherbeck, we started talking football, and he looked at me after he found out I was the voice of Fullerton College football. He said, "Oh, you're one of my guys." And I said, "Coach, I didn't play for you."
Yeah,
he said, "No,
conversation.
But you're one of my guys, right?" And as it went on, I got to do one of the nicer interviews when Corey has seen this interview, and we talked about who he was.
Watch this.
And I would have, as Ryan Osborne's still on the air, I would have played for Hal Scherbeck, James, along the way. So Hal Scherbeck's one of my guys. I'm going to go with the older 2016, 2017 coaching staff. And guys, I'm going to take a little Mickey Flynn and Gene Murphy, because even though Gene didn't have that winning pedigree that the other coaches had, you just couldn't help but like Gene Murphy. And Gene hated the fact, and yes, I did come up with the term the Lost Boys. Gene hated that. And that was what made Gene more fun, because every time I said it, it drove him nuts. So those are the guys. I'm not going to forget Perry Webster, who always stares at me every time I interview him, because he knows.
You know what I like? I like how you said one coaching staff.
Oh, wait a minute. Aren't these one coaching staffs?
No,
it's a coaching staff.
One coaching staff.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, I'll go a step.
No, I was going to say, let's talk. James, I know you've been here for the shortest amount of time between us four, but who has been a coach or coaching staff that's really helped you with your experience here?
That's nice. Thank you.
My coaching staff, well, I'd say these guys, but these guys aren't the coach staff. But what I was going to say when he brought up Hal Scherbeck, I was going to go to Bud Dawson, the guy that brought in Hal Scherbeck, but he also brought in Scoba, Viola, Omolev. He was responsible for hiring all those guys. So he's definitely a big factor around here.
But you do know they wanted to get rid of Hal Scherbeck because first time he played Santa Ana, he couldn't win. And if you couldn't beat Santa Ana, you couldn't stay here.
Yeah,
so they wanted to kiss him goodbye quickly.
To Mark's point, they actually lost the first two games that he played against Santa Ana. And it's like Mark said, it was really an emphasis on, hey, if you can't win against Santa Ana,
you need to go.
I'm sorry, the door is right there. But
after
when you
those two, didn't they win 10 straight after that?
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Yes, they did indeed. And 2 national championships along the way. So I'd say that's a pretty good resume once you get the, hey, you need to beat Santa Ana.
Corey, I got to go to you because I keep telling, and I've had the pleasure to talk to a lot of basketball guys tonight, and I keep saying, my basketball partner hasn't sat down with you. I have. So I'm going to throw, would you put any of the basketball coaches in that sort of breath that we're putting football in?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing about that. We were just talking to a couple of them. 3 national championships before Perry Webster. Omolev got one due to Hornet. We got a chance to talk to then Perry Webster. So this history of basketball for Fullerton College is as rich as anyone's in the state, in the country, at the community college level. Because when you start at the beginning, when the organizations first started, it was Fullerton College there at the forefront. You had Leonard Wynn. You had Walt Simon. You had
Bill Morris,
who was just sitting right in back of us right now. You had Edgar Clark. And then you move up to the Bob Terrys in the 90s. Then you move up to Dean Horton and his whole squad, undefeated, which hadn't been done in a bit. Gets undefeated, and now you move to Perry Webster. It's a sustained basketball excellence that, yes, San Francisco's got many since the time, since 2006, basically. Yes, Riverside won 4 in a row with Tarkanian. Yes, they've been good, but Fullerton has been consistently at the top of the heap in California Community College basketball.
Well, you know what? I actually want to flip over to a different sport here. I think it's a sport that actually doesn't get as much love as it should across the state of California and across the nation as well. It's going to be water polo. Yes, indeed, you are absolutely correct.
I looked around and said water polo?
Because it is the water polo team who has really been receptive of not only myself, but also you look at Mark. You and I have been out at water polo with Coach Gabriel Martinez and his coaching staff throughout the years. We've been able to talk very candidly with Gabriel Martinez, and he's looked at us multiple times and looked at us before the season and said, guys, you're going to want to watch this team because it's going to be special. We're going to look at us and say, you know what? This team can be special, but they need to do X, Y, or Z if they're going to get to that level. He has been open. He's been honest. And every single time that we've looked at him and said, hey, you know, we need an interview for one of our students, he has been able to be open, honest, and there for us.
I got to ask you the question because I don't think he gets the love he deserves here. 2 national championships. How good was that first national championship team? You were there for every match. How good were they, and where did they rank in national champions here at Fullerton College?
You know what? That team was encompassed by one word, and the word would be electric. Because every single game that they played, they dominated. May not have been in the score at all times, but they dominated a physical aspect that no other team could do. They were up and down the pool. They outswam other teams. And then you also want to look at those last 4 matches that they played. Even when they ran into, quote, trouble, they still had a cool, calm collectiveness about them. And if I were to personally rank them across national championships that I've seen or state championships that I've seen, I'll go top 2 because you don't go undefeated for a reason.
Well, it sounds like we're getting ready for the show behind us, so I'm going to let you take us out of here.
Thank you very much. You know what? In fact, while I take us out of here, I'm going to toss it over to Marsha Foster. Give us just a moment, and we're going to get ourselves to the 2026 Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Virtues that demonstrate characteristics we all strive to make mainstays in our lives: commitment, perseverance, leadership, and the drive for excellence, both on and off the field, the court, the track, the pool, and yes, behind the mic. This evening, we celebrate the kind of success that cements legacies, that inspires, that creates traditions, and fills the next generation of dreamers and believers with the hope, the courage, and the perseverance to chase greatness, like you. And although tonight is all about each one of you and your induction into the Fullerton College Hall of Fame, Athletic Hall of Fame, it's about so much more. It always is. You have a responsibility to be a light, still, to encourage education, to inspire others to want to be like you, or even to be better than you, to pass on what it means to dream and what it takes to accomplish those dreams. Glad you are all here tonight. Welcome. Before we begin the program, I would like to acknowledge special dignitaries who are in the room who have joined us tonight. But before I do that, I'm actually going to have our president, Fullerton College President, Dr. Cynthia Olivo. Cynthia.
Thank you so
everyone involved in planning today. And I know that the athletic department is really proud, as I am, about all of our athletic programs. You know, I was present when we won our state championship in softball. That was incredible. And I was also present when we just won our state championship in basketball. I will never forget those moments. You know, when we were able to celebrate our student athletes and their hard work and success to culminate in championships. And I know that tonight, that's what we're doing with our Hall of Fame inductees. So to every single one of you who is being honored tonight, congratulations. We celebrate you not only for all of your talents that you brought to us in athletics, but what you mean to us as people and as alumni. You know, I've been the president here now, this is my 4th year, and I love the saying, once a Hornet, always a Hornet. So I look forward to celebrating you tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank Dr. Abel again. Glad you're here this evening. I'd like to acknowledge some of the special dignitaries who are in the room. Dr. Lisa Nashua, she's Executive Director of the Friends of Fullerton College Foundation. Leonard Latman, a former North Orange County Community College District Board of Trustee member. Dr. Jerry Padilla, Professor Emeritus of Ethnic Studies and a major supporter of our athletic program. Dr. Vicki Calhoun, Fullerton Joint Union High School District Board of Trustees. Our Dean, Dr. Beth Kelly, she's the Dean of our Athletic Director, Mr. Scott Giles. We're honored to have you here and welcome you into this space of amazing accomplishment. A little more house cleaning before we begin with why we're all here tonight to honor our Hall of Famers. You see the cubes on the tables and around the room. They are there in case you would like to donate to our athletic department. Respect the Legacy, Shape the Future campaign. I know that everyone here understands that it takes a village to support our student athletes and their athletic endeavors. So please, whatever you can donate will be appreciated. If you don't feel comfortable putting money in a cube, there are QR codes on the table for your convenience. You can also hand a check made out to Fullerton College Athletics to our athletic director, Scott Giles, our dean, Dr. Beth Kelly, or you can give it to me, but if you do, make sure you make it out to me, Marcia. That's M-A-R-C-I-A, Foster. All right, it's time to get this celebration started. Our first inductee, Rich Leon. Rich was a standout wide receiver at Fullerton College during the 1964 and 65 seasons. He was a 2-time All-American, helping lead the Hornets to 18 consecutive wins and the start of a 48-game unbeaten streak. His historic performance with 12 catches for 159 yards in the 1965 Junior Rose Bowl helped secure the program's first national championship. After finishing his career with 129 receptions, 1,715 yards, and 23 touchdowns, Leon went on to play at USC and the University of Hawaii. An amazing 2-sport athlete, Rich played 6 seasons of professional baseball, reaching AAA and finishing with a .306 career batting average. So accepting the award on Rich Leon's behalf this evening is Hall of Famer and former Hornet baseball coach, Nick Viscardo.
Thank you very
Mark Sampson, who was one of the offensive coordinator of that football team. It was unbelievable that anybody here that followed us, it was unbelievable which Ellis has got. So he asked me, "You will listen to Jesus?" I said, "I will." And so here's what he said. "Dear honored guests and award winners, my name is Mark Sampson, and I was the offensive coordinator for the Fullerton College Hornets football program from 1964 to 1993. I was also the position coach for quarterbacks and receivers during that time. We are very, very fortunate to have many of our players who are all Americans during my tenure. Some All-Americans are here tonight too, so you know how important that is. But the most gifted and the most talented athlete that the coach was Rich Leon. No player was more competitive nor had such a burning desire to win. He still holds many records 60 years after he left our school. He's one of the greatest athletes I had the privilege of coaching. This award is so richly deserved, but it's been too long in coming. I wish that I could get his induction into the Fullerton College Hall of Fame, but unfortunately his scheduling conflict and age did not allow that. Thank you for allowing me these few moments to honor one of the greatest wide receivers in community college history. Sincerely, Marvin Perez Simpson. I won't get the opportunity, but I please take 1 minute to tell you a little story about this. A young man who I had at Troy High School. His name is David Shaw. David's going to be awarded as well. But David was a student at Troy. I was in my office and posted up there it said tryouts on Monday. So he comes in, he goes, "Hey, Skipper, can I come out for baseball?" And I said, "Yeah." So he had a couple of crutches he was walking on, he came out, I said, "Don't be ready, he was wild." And he comes out, and he's at that angel uniform on. And so he has that movie on, and he says, "I'm here, Skipper." I said, "It's about time." I said, "You ready?" He goes, "I'm ready." I said, "What do you play?" He goes, "I pitch." And I said, "Well, get your steamer right down and get loose." He goes, "I'm already loose." I said, "Well, get out there and let's see what you got." So he goes out to the mound, plants himself in front of the mound, throws 4 or 5 pitches. And then, so I walked out and I said, "Hey, Pete, you know something I don't know?" He goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "Are we pitching from down here this year or up on that road?" He said, "You want me to go up there?" I said, "That's where it starts, partner." So he goes up, and he went through that, and he threw a couple balls, and he goes, "Hey, Skipper, I think my tryout's over." And I said, "Let me tell you what, son." And I remember coming around and I said, "You see all those guys out there? They're in awe of what you did. And I'm in awe of you being in my Hall of Fame. Love you."
Our next inductee, Makanessi. Makanessi was one of the most versatile and dominant throwers in Fullerton College track and field history. Competing in the 2010 and 2011 seasons, she won back-to-back state champions in the shot put, capturing Orange Empire Conference and Southern California titles along the way, establishing herself among the elite in California while also being named the 2011 Fullerton College Athlete of the Year. Besides setting school records in the shot put and discus, Anne also placed at the state level in the hammer and javelin. So this is from Coach B, Coach Beckett, our head cross country and women's track and field coach, who coached from the moment she joined the team. Makanessi brought a level of consistency that coaches dream about. She was a role model, how to handle bad reps, how she stayed late to fix the little things. That kind of presence shifts a program's culture. And that legacy shows up in the way the team trains now. The expectations are higher, the bar for effort is higher, and the belief that Fullerton College athletes can compete with powerhouse programs is no longer wishful thinking, it is the norm. She left behind a blueprint. Show up early, do the unglamorous work, lift up the people around you, let the results speak for you. That kind of legacy lasts longer, ladies and gentlemen, and has more of an impact than any school record. Welcome, Makanessi, to the stage.
Okay, so if you told me back in 2010, something like that, I'd be here in Hall of Fame. My career started when I was in high school. I didn't want to run PE, so I was like, checking kids, where is that? And so instead I was like, I'll throw something heavy instead of having to run. But it was funny because I decided to come to Fullerton College was because Coach B, she invested in me. Even when I was in high school, she believed in me. I had an older sister who came to Fullerton College, and Coach B would yell at her like, "Lift, go, go, go," and she would like, she would yell at me, and I'm like, "Whoa, Coach, what's happening? Like, please don't, like, you can't do that." So I'm the type of athlete that will come, you tell me what to do, I'll do it, but I won't do it if you yell at me. I'll just go kind of. But together we grew a lot. Coach B, I guess our coaching, the way she coached me was we drill during the week. So when it came to the track meets, just be as relaxed as possible, just get me those PRs, and I got me those PRs. While everyone else was drilling, I was over there with friends, saying hi to people, eating snacks, while everyone else was drilling. And the first time that I PR'd, and I threw 150, my coach B came and asked me, what was going through your head? I was like, oh, I was singing a song. I was singing, and I just threw it, and it was 150. So, I'm just so honored to be here, to be an alumni of Fullerton College. It was this place that instilled discipline, my love for people, my love for God. I just want to say thank you, Coach B, for those years of commitment and love, and for our continuation of friendship. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next inductee, Gabriella Perez. Record-breaking water polo standout Gabriella Perez competed during the 2014 and 2016 seasons. In 2014, she helped lead the Hornets to their first conference title and an undefeated 35-0 season for the program's first state championship, which was highlighted by her dramatic game-winning goal in sudden death overtime. Gabriella earned first-team All-Orange Empire Conference, All-State, and All-American honors that year. She also set a Fullerton College and California State single-season record with 185 goals, which is still unmatched today. Her legacy as one of the most dominant players in state history continues to define what excellence means for the Hornet water polo program. Welcome, Gabriella Perez, to the stage.
Good evening, everyone. It's truly an honor to be inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame at Fullerton College. To be recognized alongside so many incredible athletes who come through this program means more to me than I can put into words. All those early mornings and long afternoons weren't easy, but they were always worth it. In those moments when I felt they felt tough. And I had to keep going. I learned discipline, resilience, and what it really means to commit to something bigger than myself. My time here shaped me not just as an athlete, but as a person. I want to thank my coach Gabriel for believing in me and pushing me to be better every single day. Thank you to my teammates who became family and to my own family for their constant support through it all. I wouldn't be here standing here without you. This recognition belongs to all of us. So Fullerton College will always be a part of who I am, and I will carry that with me wherever I go. So thank you. I'm incredibly proud to be part of this legacy. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, Gabriella. D'Angelo Ross. D'Angelo Ross was a standout defensive back at Fullerton College in the 2015-16 season, earning first-team All-Southern California Football Association honors while helping lead the Hornets to a state and national championship, highlighted by a 2-interception performance in the title game. During his Hornet career, Ross established himself as a dominant defensive player with exceptional speed and resilience, totaling 88 tackles and 8 interceptions, including 2 returned for touchdowns. He continued his collegiate career at the University of New Mexico before embarking on an NFL career which has included stints with the New England Patriots, the Houston Texans, and his current team, the Cleveland Browns. Please welcome D'Angelo Ross and Fullerton College co-head coach Phil Austin to the stage.
Made big plays in school, the type of man he was, God-fearing man, and brought a lot of that to our team and our culture, and is a big reason why we won that first championship. New Mexico ended up taking him, and thanks to Coach Crooks, Coach Crooks had some connections over there. They had came through maybe 3 or 4 times just to talk about him, and they kept talking, but they never offered. And Coach Crooks said we will all stand on the table for this young man. Just trust us. Just take. And they ended up taking him, I believe it was the last minute, maybe a couple of days before signing day. He signed for New Mexico. Best player on the team in New Mexico. Sorry. One of your teammates. I'm a little biased. And then went on and got picked up as a free agent with the New England Patriots with Bill Belichick. Trying to get there, but I read an article of why he got injured early on, and they kept him on the team, and that's rare if you're familiar with the NFL and how things work. If you get injured as a free agent, you weren't drafted, you're done, you're cut, right? They put him on IR to keep him on the team, and there's an article out that I saw where Bill Belichick talks about how valuable he was on the team on a 53-man roster when he can play the corner position, he knows the nickel position, the dime position. I even saw him start at free safety in one game. So he made himself valuable by the way he took meticulous notes, and he spread that amongst the team, even in New England. So it's an honor to bring out our favorite guy. If you go to my office, you'll see a big picture of Ross outside. I'm talking about life-size, kind of 6'7", looking good. But definitely, I've been coaching 25 years. My favorite player to coach, and someone that you would hope, that he did grow up and became a great husband, great dad, and inspiration, really, truly, to all of us. So here is the name.
I appreciate you, Coach Austin. I wouldn't be here, Coach Brooks. I don't know if Coach Lee was in here, but he's the reason I'm here. He reached out to me. I had no clue about Fullerton College, so I just thank all you guys for embracing me and bringing me in here, and just putting me in a position to do what I love to do. Congratulations to all the other inductees. It's an amazing, it's not amazing, it's cool, to be honored in this way. I never would have thought in a million years. And all the people sitting at this table, they know me. I'll say I don't deserve this. I don't think I deserve much, because I don't ever think I do well enough. But it's these people at this table that make me feel confident standing up here. And just a little bit. I don't want to take too much of your time. Football, I've been doing this. I'm 30. I'll be 30 this year, and I haven't grown an inch since I left it. So I'll be 30 this year, and I've been doing this 25 years out of my life, and it's taught me a lot of things on every different level. At the highest level, I've been cut, which means fired. I've been fired a lot, but as many times as I've been cut, I get back up. It doesn't go my way. It's not I haven't been good enough. Sometimes I'm good enough. I've had great times. I've been in amazing stadiums. I've had amazing opportunities. I've been sad. I've been happy. It's up and down. But the only thing that's constant is these people sitting at this table. It's my family. Get through this. I'm almost done. But the constants in my life, like my mom, she's not able to sit at this table today, and that hurts me a lot. And she knew that I would be here. She believed in me. Everything that I've done, she said it. She would say, you would hear that she was in here. She said it to everybody she's come in contact with. So it's not a surprise that I'm here, and I believe in her, and I'm thankful that she always believed in me. My dad, he's sitting right there with his wife, Michelle. My dad, to this day,
my entire life teach me how to be like a man, a strong man, a father, you know, a husband. And that's what he's going to continue to do. He's always been that. That's a constant in my life. Like my uncle, he's been with me since day one. My Nina, she's right there. My godmother, she's picked up right where my mom left off. My sister, she's right there. She'll do anything that I need to be successful. My aunt, she'd get on a plane wherever I needed to go. And like, that's the family that I was blessed with. And then I have a family that I was fortunate enough to choose, or they chose me. So Louisa, Jesse, Mom C, Audie, and I don't see Mer. Oh, she's back there. Like they're covering the same cloth. It's nothing but belief and support. And just lastly, it's my wife. She's sitting there. She's beautiful. She's everything that I could have imagined and more. Like, we've been through so much in a short period of time. And, like, she's always there. It doesn't matter what it is, good or bad. So I love her so much, and I couldn't do this without her. And then my two little ones, they're acting up right now. Roman and Royce, they just want me to come home and play with them. That's it. Hopefully they'll love this story one day. But like, again, thank you guys. Congratulations to everybody.
Congratulations, D'Angelo. Our next inductee, Lynette Velasquez. One of the most accomplished players in Fullerton College softball history, Lynette Velasquez, 1996-97, started as both a pitcher and first baseman while helping lead the Hornets to an Orange Empire Conference Championship and a state runner-up finish in 1996. A dominant offensive force, Lynette hit 370 in 96 and 420 in 97. While also setting a single season record with 21 doubles and ranking among the program's leaders in nearly every major statistical category. Her honors continued with all Southern California and first team Orange Empire Conference selections in 1996. And a first-team OEC and All-State selection in 1997. Velasquez continued her illustrious career at the University of Oklahoma, earning Big 12 Player of the Year, first-team All-American honors, while also setting a single-season home run record. She later played professionally with both the Georgia Pride and Florida Wahoos, and has continued to impact the game as a coach and mentor, leaving an outstanding legacy both on and off the field. Lynette Velasquez.
It is truly an honor to be here amongst such prestigious athletes alongside the college athletic department staff. How amazing it feels to stand here today knowing that how hard and your approach to college community softball. First, I want to thank Heather Speedy, Mary Mendoza for submitting my name, Phil Berman, and Scott Giles. Thank you for accepting me into the first college. My journey to Fullerton College began with a wonderful young coach on our team and under softball team. Every week he would tell me Lynette, I'm making a party this weekend. I made sure that after school that we got a lot of those opportunities. When my grades didn't work out, Norm recruited me to come to Fullerton College. God bless you, Norm. Perez, rest in peace. Here at Fullerton College, and so many people who shaped me. Kenny McFinn, I don't know his last name. Tony Nunn, our maintenance, and then the head coach, Lassie, who consistently hit balls to me and somehow always found I'm sorry that you endured the whole route that my balls falling off my back in those cages. Thank you for your sacrifice and your time. And Coach, you and Coach Cassie, a lot of your bruises I gave you guys, so thank you. Your guys' sacrifice made me a better player that whatever I could do to make myself, you guys are there for me. I recently went to visit the softball field, and it's looking very fantastic. So I'm very happy for the Lady Hornets to be playing on that field. Thank you, President Dr. Cynthia Alivo, for your leadership and your commitment to those improvements. So thank you to the girls to my teammates, there is no IET, so thank you for showing up here today. I truly appreciate it. The support off the field matters just as much. The Mendoza family, with all the fundraising and snap hours, all the hours that you all put in back in those days, you'd always be able to find Mama Maria Mendoza there. Rest in peace. And to my Oklahoma Sooner softball family, Coach Gasso, Jimmy Gasso, they will always have my heart. Thank you for sponsoring the table on my behalf and bringing my teammates and my family together tonight. Lastly, and most important, my family, my grandpa, my grandma, my mother, rest in peace. I wish you were here with me this moment. Everything I did for this game, I did for you. But I'm leaving it behind for my son Nico and the next generation of my family sitting at that table. Brother Ken, Sister Lynette, Sister Alicia, thank you for your support, always being there for me. Ken, thank you for when I came to Fullerton College, you let me stay at your house. Thank you. Have a room. I wish my son Nico could be here tonight to watch how cool his mom is standing up here. But he's exactly where he belongs at a university playing football. Today, my inspiration or my aspiration is very simple. I strive every day to leave a positive impact for those around me. I am not worthy, but as a testament to God, who has never left me. Thank you, Lord, and thank you again for Fullerton College for this opportunity to support me.
Congratulations, Lynette. David Shaw. For more than 4 decades, David Shaw has been a constant and recognizable presence throughout Fullerton College athletics. The beloved voice of the Hornets, Shaw began his announcing career while at Troy High School before lending his expertise to Hornet baseball, basketball, softball, and football. For generations, his passion and knowledge created an extraordinary game day experience for Fullerton College athletes and fans. David's dedication earned him Fullerton College's first Distinguished Athletic Award in 2000 and a place on baseball's Wall of Honor in 2022. Shaw's commitment, perseverance, and lifelong service have cemented his legacy as a true Hornet legend. Welcome, David Shaw.
Just like Elizabeth Taylor said to all her husbands, I won't keep you long. That's all right. Things are pretty comfortable. I'm going to be up here long. Starting as a young boy, when in the spring and summer months, when kids were watching Saturday morning cartoon, I was watching Saturday Major League Baseball. That's where I learned how to pronounce names and keep score. Mom. Thank you for acquainting my path and my passion and my love of Major League Baseball. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my mother, Coach Shaw. To Bill Morris, Nick Piscardo, Mike Scova, Roger C. When you knew me as a young boy, and I grew up here basically at Fullerton, you were the ones that made me into the man that I'm standing right here today. So I love you and thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. So the coaches I've announced for baseball, for Mike Scola, Nick Piscardo, softball, Lisa Bassi, for basketball, Bill Morris, Peter Horton, Roger C. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to create my own style and catchphrases that I use to not only entertain the crowd, but maintain a professionalism. Thank you to the Fullerton College Hall of Fame committee, Scott Giles, Bill Thurman, thank you. And wow, to my family. I believe that you don't have to be blood related to be family. I mean, look around this room. We're the Hornet family. That's what we are. Chapmans, David and Chapman, Delaney, Trent Chapman. You are my everything. You are my heart. I love you all more than you know. To my inner circle, Juan Cuevas and Roxanne, and Frank Paredo's here. Thank you for being part of my life. Skips Hill, thank you very much for also being here. To all the inductees tonight. Tonight we take our rightful place in the halls of the Fullerton College athletic legends that no one will ever be able to take away from us, ever. We have a saying here at Fullerton that once a Hornet, always a Hornet, but I'd like to add a little more to that today. Once a Hornet, always a Hornet, but tonight, forever a Hall of Famer. Thank you all. I love you all here in this room. God bless you all. Thank you all. And good night.
Congratulations, David Shaw. Our next inductee, Bob Terry. Finishing his career with 1,178 points, Bob Terry was one of the premier scorers in Fullerton College basketball history. During his 1990-92 career, the two-time MVP set school records for free throw percentage, 90%, and consecutive free throws made. Bob was a two-time All-Orange Empire Conference first-team selection and All-State honoree. The dynamic scorer continued his illustrious career at Azusa Pacific University, helping to lead his team to a #1 national ranking, earning NAIA All-American honors, and was named District 3 Player of the Year. Please welcome Bob Terry and former Hornet basketball coach and Assistant Athletic Director Roger C. to the stage.
Say something about David. I was an assistant basketball coach from 1974 to 81, and my first hire for Jeff Fox and Jerry Larson, my assistant coaches. Jerry was really old. David was my third hire. He was never late for a game. He may be a little slow getting up and down. Never late for a game. And so I really appreciate what he's done for Fullerton College. As a coach here for 43 years, I think Alfie Oakville was one who matched that. I had the honor to coach tennis and basketball most of that time. And I don't remember too many wins and losses. To be honest with you, I can't remember more than a handful of wins, but I have to think about it for that. The losses I don't remember. But it's the players and the relationship that you develop with the players that stick with you for a lifetime. Like Bob Terry. I wasn't able to follow his career that close. But if you look at the statistics after he left Fullerton College, what an amazing career he had. I've had players play in the NAIA Division 1, 2, 3. They played in Australia, Europe, the Middle East, Latin America. They've all had great careers. Some of them still stay in touch. One guy from 1976, he calls me once a month. Let's see if I'm still working. I'm still working. My question is, why did it take so long for Bob Terry? He's my first basketball inductee of the Hall of Fame. And they invited me to be in the Hall of Fame committee this year. And I said, Bob Terry's got to be my first inductee. And the 2005-2006 basketball team has to be the second. His statistics speak for himself. He's the fourth leading scorer in the history of Fullerton College basketball. Walt Simon, my assistant coach, and one of my best friends, leading scorer in history of JC basketball in 2017. I don't think anyone's going to pass that. Leonard Quinn, Edgar Clark, good friend of mine, who used to call me once a month with Walt's brother, keeping track of me and keeping track of them. Those guys are way back. It's like 70 years, about 60 years. It's a long time ago. And Bob was number 4 in the line. I had to go back to the record book to just have to refresh my memory how much he scored. Looking at it, so David scored 30 points and 17 rebounds. He was our team leader. Very good. 36 free throws in a row. That's pretty impressive. 90%. We did something in the practice when we were running sprints. And Bob was there. We run sprints, and I said to the foul line, I said, shoot to this. Bob hit 43 or 46 in a row. Practice was over at that point. We couldn't run again. That was like 10 minutes. You remember that, Bob? One more record that's not in the record books. One of the things I used to do as a head coach is I took my team to Hawaii as often as possible after the season for a little R&R, 8 days, 7 nights. I took 44 people with me one time. They paid for both the way, but I paid for the players. Into the season, when we needed wins, I would tell them, okay, you guys, you owe me $125 when we go to Hawaii. But for every win you get from now on, I'll knock $25 off. They didn't pay a thing after that. Bob said he went twice. Bob, I think you went 3 times. I took you as a redshirt. I thought times we've had a great time, and that was one way that we didn't have infections on the team. They all wanted to know why. I'm extremely proud to introduce a part of my life in the Hall of Fame, Bob Terry. One more thing. Bob was 6'8", 185. Now he tells me he's 250. A monster, still playing.
Thanks for letting me come after David Shaw too. Incredible. I don't want to speak too long, but I do have a lot of people that I do want to thank. Extremely honored to be here, humbled, and I want to congratulate. I know some of these inductees. I want to congratulate all of you. David Shaw was announcing the games when I played. I can't tell you, something I looked up to. He just brought the energy to the game and just brought so much to it. Chris Malloy, I coached with, known him a long-time friend. Hung out with all of our friends who were Vegas, who played mentally, coached with me. He's been successful where he's gone. Got to know Peter Horton too when I was coaching. Did a fabulous job. So congratulate all of you. Thank the Hornet Heritage Foundation. Fullerton College holds a special place in my heart. It was my get right spot. Kind of refocus and get my life in order. I was very, very lucky to be here. I just want to talk a little bit, maybe some of the people that kind of my basketball journey. My parents moved to Nebraska in the late 60s. I thank my brother Tom for encouraging my parents to put a basketball hoop up in the backyard. Spent a lot of time on that backyard, breaking some windows, even a permanent spot in the grass, shooting so many free throws. I was lucky my parents moved to Brea. We had a strong sports program. Gene Lloyd had brought a very good basketball program to Brea, something that I was looking forward to even at an early age. I went to elementary school and junior high at St. Angela's, which is an accounting school. And something we always looked forward to was we got in 6th grade. I thank Bill and Teeny for starting the Brave Police Athletic League, which was a tournament for basketball where we got to play the other elementary schools. I had like 25 kids in my 6th grade class, so we had like 12 boys. So we were always overmatched when we played these elementary schools. But we got to play at Brea High School, and it was just, I was hooked. And we made the championship game, and got to play at Brea High School Saturday night. And under the lights, and Saturday night was a big deal. By the way, our St. Angela's team won the championship by 27 points. I remember that because everybody was thinking we were going to lose. But it was just something I really looked forward to. Had a great finish at junior high and got to high school. Had Phil Henderson as my freshman and JV coach, Chris Cemetery as my sophomore coach, Rick Jones as my varsity coach. When I got to Brea High School, it was a little bit of an eye-opener coming from Catholic school. I didn't play my freshman year. It was a very difficult time, and sometimes you have that doubt. But I was very, very lucky to encounter a young up-and-coming coach named Chris Cemetery, who was my sophomore coach. I'm going to try not to get emotional, but he instilled confidence in me, took me aside, believed in me. I don't think he knows this, but that was a turnaround for me in my career. I got better every year after that, but I remember that conversation. I remember figuring out all the terms that Chris and Coach would use. He's been a lifelong friend, and he really encouraged me to go on. I had a great JV year, varsity year. Gene Lloyd had to retire for the first time, our coach. I got to play for coaching Rick Jones. Another coach who was a father figure, gave me the green light to shoot whatever I wanted, made some changes to put our point guard in to distribute the ball. And our point guard that year is actually more led the county in assists. But I take great pride in that too because I gave him a lot of those assists. But Coach put me in front of the camera. He really just brought out the best in me. His son Daryl's here, and kind of representing him. That Daryl's been a good friend of our family. He's helped my kids out a lot. Another Brea, one of those Brea guys that everybody looks up to. So I thank Daryl for being here too. But I knew that I wanted to attend Fullerton College, and when I got here, the term "once a Hornet, always a Hornet," you figure that out out really quick. I was welcomed in the training room. Dave Chapman, Craig Coleman, two familiar faces, great guys. Bill Chambers, the head of the trainer. A lot of people don't know this, but he would give me boxes of protein drinks because I was thin. And he would say, Bobby, you got to drink these drinks like 3 times a day to keep your weight up. But I thank Bill Chambers for that. I got to play for Jeff Watts, Walt Simon, Barry Larson as assistant coaches. Walt's son, Miles, was in the gym with me shooting all the time. He was the Final Four MVP in 1994 for Arizona, still playing. I was in the gym with him all the time, shooting. Spent a lot of time in that gym shooting. And my head coach, Roger C. Thank Roger C. for not only helping me become a better basketball player, but becoming a better man and figuring it out. He was a great example. I took a basketball class with him. He made sure that I was in the weight room, which was really important. I got a lot stronger. He made sure I was in shape. I got great coaching. I was successful at the next level because of his coaching. So I was very blessed to have him. I did get recruited in a lot of schools, but I knew where I wanted to go because I knew Coach Odell at Zoo Pacific. We had a very good team. We had such a good team that San Diego State wouldn't play us that year because we probably would have beaten them. We lost to Washington State that year. They lost it. They beat UCLA twice. But we had a very good team at Azusa. Very great experience where I ended up getting my degree, master's degree. But finishing, I want to talk a little bit just about a little bit of coaching and some influential people. After that, I met the family, the Dodd family, Carrie and Linda Dodd, who happened to be best friends with Coach Viscardo. Coach Viscardo just yelled at officials at the game, so that's the only thing you hear from Viscardo in the background. But Carrie Dodd said, hey, why don't you come coach this 7th grade all-net team? I said, yeah, I'll come coach. And coached his son Kyle and had the best time ever. Went up to coach freshman for 2 years. I think we lost 1 game. Went up after Chris left as an associate coach to coach the varsity. And we know we did all the coaching. Judy Lloyd was there. And then time to get the head job. And luckily for me, Carrie Dodd was on the interview panel. And he was the booster president. So had a great year. Went 26-3 that year. I got to coach some incredible kids, including their son Kyle, who I know couldn't be here tonight. His son's taking a recruiting trip for baseball to Rice as a stud. But one thing that the Dodds did for me is they let me sit in on all the college visits. As a young coach, that made a huge impact on me. When you're sitting with Rick Majerus, Lorenzo Roman, all the Division I coaches, but they did that. They didn't have to do that. So they were very influential in helping just me become a coach, and just very thankful. And their son was a pretty good basketball player, full ride at issue. I thought he was a great coach, and then a couple of those kids leave, and then it was the players. Those kids were great players. But since then, just being associated with Fullerton College, I kind of reconnected. I coached against Tom Durrell, assistant coach. I've been able to come to games and meet and hang out with Coach Viscardo, some of the Hall of Famers, great people to be around. Billy Morris, sit and watch games. I can't tell you how much joy the last few years watching Fullerton. Just the way they run the program and how they care about their kids. Coach Webster, Coach Burrell, Coach Ugland, Coach Thompson, Coach Perry, Scott Giles, just make me feel welcome. Just got a lot of joy. Coach doesn't know this too, but I get a lot of joy out of watching his family, Coach Webster, because it really brings back fond memories for me, coaching and seeing my family up supporting me. So kind of special for me watching, but I really enjoy going to games. Just lastly, quickly want to recognize some of my friends and my family. Representing my friends, Chuck Gannon, Steve Iaquina, my coworker Jeff Miller, who I coached with. He's coached with me. I worked with him. I want to give them a shout out. My family, my 2 boys, I'm not going to do it, Chris and Matt. My older son Chris became a dad, watches his son, he's a great father. My younger son Matthew is going to get married June 5th. He's a Fullerton fireman, so he serves Fullerton. My daughter-in-law actually works in Fullerton, Miranda, who's soon-to-be daughter-in-law is a nurse. She was at St. Jude, so we have some Fullerton connection. So I'm very proud to have 2 bonus daughters. New grandson, 17-month-old Logan, who is the boss of the family and just the pride and joy of everybody. And being a grandfather has just been the best. And then I want to thank my in-laws. My mother-in-law passed away in July, and my father-in-law Tony, who was also a Fullerton police officer for over 20 years. I want to thank them for their support. And then I think I mentioned this, Bill. I want to just quickly mention my parents. My dad passed 3 years ago. My mom's 94. She can't get out of the house. So, hi, Mom. She's on YouTube right now, I think, watching. And I hope she can hear that. My parents were always the 2 sitting in the stands. Anybody who played knows, Dave will tell you, that you run out, and then my parents were always there. My mom always played sports with me when my dad was at work. My dad kept scrapbooks. I have my dad's score notepad. Every level I played, he kept notepads for me. I know they really, this would be their jam in here. So I want to thank them just for always, never getting upset with me, just always level, getting killed. My dad was the most getting killed guy. And then lastly, my wife. This is it, guys. This is my wife, Dina. My wife, Dina, went to Fullerton College for, took a couple classes before going to graduate school. She knows this. I would tell her. I was working when I was going to school here and playing 5 hours a day. I told her, if you want to see me on Friday and Saturday night, you got to go to Tamarack Park, or you got to go to the gym. And she would show up, because I had to practice. I don't think people realize I practice. She'll tell you, I was playing basketball all the time, but she would show up. So she showed up. I've been with her 35 years. We'll be 30 years married in December. And she's the best wife, mother, grandmother, sister. She's a survivor. She's just been by my side. I could not be here and do the things I've done without her. So I'm very honored and humble. Thank you guys very much.
How's everybody doing? Good show, right? Good evening. All right. Last but certainly not least, our 2005-2006 undefeated men's basketball championship team. The 2005-2006 Fullerton College men's basketball team etched its place in history with a perfect 37-0 season, capturing the state championship with an 81-67 victory over West Valley College. Ranked number 1 all season, the Hornets dominated on both ends of the floor with a balanced offense and relentless defense, setting a California Community College single-season wins record that still stands today. Led by head coach Dieter Horton, the team's legacy extended beyond the season with numerous players advancing to 4-year programs and professional careers, most certainly cementing the team as one of the greatest in state history. Please welcome head coach Dieter Horton.
Still bossing them around, which doesn't matter 20 years later. Well, the boys set up here. I need to get a little housekeeping out of the way first and acknowledge it. I want to thank Scott Giles. Where's Scott at? Scott was my state coach for the year. beautiful family. My wife Chelsea, my daughter Ellie, and my son, who you see probably on a picture here. I think he's about 3 when it catches up. He's not here today, fortunately. Before we get to these guys and the crazy things that they did, and crazy is a understatement. I know you guys are laughing because the story we've been telling, I forget half the stuff that these guys did. Thank goodness I didn't remember until 20 years later. I need to acknowledge a few people. First of all, this is weird, it's surreal for me. I went to Fullerton High School, I went to Fullerton College, I went to Cal State Fullerton. I was 12 years old watching Hal Scherbeck at Fullerton Stadium play football. So for me, I grew up around the corner from Nick Viscardo, literally 10 houses away, probably, right? We were literally right around the corner. So for me to be here is a very surreal experience. The campus has changed. I do want to acknowledge a few people. He should be up here. Dave, where are you? Dave up here? There he is. Dave Chapman, our trainer. He kept our guys healthy, and he was absolutely the best. And when I would lose my mind, he would find a way to kind of put it in check. 2 people changed my life, my wife Chelsea, and then Chris Malloy, my assistant coach. I tried to hire him like 3 different times. He would never return a phone call. And finally, I cornered his now wife and Heroes, and she got him on the phone. And the next day, I hired him on a job. And when he came on staff, everything changed for us. And so for him, if it wasn't for him, this would never ever have happened whatsoever. Okay, there he is. There's Chris right there. Yeah. I want to talk about my guys and acknowledge them. We got Kurt Gray right here. Kurt was one of my big guys here in Dartmouth. We got Carlton Smith. We got John Butler. John is a unique story. He's actually an NBA official, and he is an alternate for tomorrow for him. That's all right. That's right. It's okay. So when you turn on the NBA, and he's getting cussed out by LeBron, that's our guy. That's a warning, getting cussed out by LeBron. Mikey Williams, we got Johnny Earl, we have Allstate, Michael Earl, went to Ohio State, we have Manny Fierce, another great guy, Manny. And unfortunately, some of the guys are not here. Corey McIntosh, who we all thought was the best point guard in the nation, he's in Dallas right now. Sean Baylor, who went to UNC Charlotte, he's in North Carolina still. Jabri's family here. I thought Jabri's mom was going to make it. Jabri Taylor, Timmy Benson, who's a state tournament MVP, he's coaching in China right now. Phil, and one who's not here, who we wish was here, is Roger Johnson. He passed away in 2015, and he was the hardest, in 25 years, I've never seen a human being play as hard as this guy. He was kind of the heartbeat of this, and I can't tell stories about Rod on a microphone. I just can't. But if you want to hear some of the crazy stories in the history of athletics, my wife is laughing. You have to just ask me afterwards, and you're not going to believe some of the things that this guy did. 37-0 was the end, but the story is that much better. There's a few little facts about this group of guys, and Malloy and I have talked about this every year. We talk about it all the time. Back in the day, I don't know if Perry remembers this, but there used to be lesser rules, so we used to play, like, in the off-season, we can go play in events. I created the showcase events for basketball, so we would play in the off-season, spring, summer, fall. We'd play in events and tournaments and stuff like that. And yeah, it didn't count, but it was pretty competitive. This group actually never lost a game and won 61 in a row. Now, one of the other crazy stories about that is in my event, in the fall of 05, I ran an event, which I've never seen in 25 years coaching. We actually shut a team out for an entire half where they couldn't score a basket. And they actually went into 8 minutes into the second half, is that right? They couldn't, I'll say it was Santa Monica who won 22 games that year. They literally went 0 goose eggs for over a half plus in a game. And when we gave up the basket, these guys were so mad and upset that they even gave up a basket. You guys remember that? Yeah, and actually, that's right. Everybody in the stands gave a standing ovation when they actually finally scored, and I believe it was a free throw that they scored. That's what it was. After they got the first goal to score. That's kind of play a game, let's make every game worth two wins. Every half, we had to compete. You guys remember this? So, we actually technically, in the eyes of these guys, we were never 37-0. We were 65-9. We only lost 9 halves the entire season. And the crazy thing was this, and nobody would understand this, but Key and I did. There were times at the end of the first half where these guys were blowing timeouts because we were down 1 and the half was about to end, and they didn't want to lose the half. I go into halftime with only 1 timeout sometimes, and they'd blow timeouts. Vice versa, there were games where we're at 25 at the end and we're blowing timeouts. And guys are subbing themselves in and out. I'm talking to Malloy here, and all of a sudden our all-state point guard, All-American's checking himself back in the ball game because he doesn't want us to lose the half. I had to apologize more than once to a coach afterwards and explain to him what happened because they refused to lose a half, whether it was the first half or the second half. And that... Oh, and they had to run. I'm a jerk. They ran if they lost a half. I'm sorry. That wasn't it. See, you guys remember this stuff. I don't. My God. Within the 37 games, these guys were special. 23 to 37 teams that we played won 20 or more games, including in that, which is not easy to do. Saddleback, Riverside, San Jacinto, and San Bernardino Valley were all the powers. We beat them all 3 times in the season, which is very unusual. That was not easy to do. In the old days, we had to go to the Riverside tournament, which was 4 games in 4 days, and that was brutal. That was just absolutely brutal to do that. We had Sean with mono. There were so many things we had to deal with. And finally, when we got to Fresno, and this is, I feel bad for you, by the way, I have to stop. I also need to recognize, and I will say this sincerely, the absolute best basketball coach in the history of Fullerton College, Perry Webster, right there. He was absolutely 100%. Right now, I can say, P-Dub is absolutely the best coach that's ever been here at Fullerton College. Lastly, what I want to talk about with these guys is our journey and how it ended in Fresno, which it breaks my heart that we don't get to experience anymore. We got to play in Selland Arena, 11,000 seat arena. We go up there, and at the time, it was a juggernaut because it was us, and it was Fresno City, who only had 1 loss, Vance Wahlberg, who was the head coach of Fresno State. And we were kind of on a collision course with Fresno City to play them. We got to the semifinals. We're in Selland. I was told right after the game it was the largest crowd to watch a state playoff game. I think we were at about 6,000 people. It was absolutely packed, and I think we only had like 40 people there, and everybody else was in red. And these guys, they led the nation in scoring. It was a 170 game. They were running triple jog. These guys were scoring an incredible clip. And we held them 47 points under their average, which was an incredible feat. And the only reason why we did it was because this guy came up with the most cockamamie idea. He knocked on my hotel room at 3 a.m. in the morning of the game, and said, I got an idea. And I had to take my best friend who was in the stand and put it at the score table, and that's a whole nother story. But his cockamamie idea took him from 107 to 60. And it got us through the game. Who was it that ran off the floor and threw up in the... Oh, it was you. Yeah, I think it was this guy who ran off the floor and threw up. You were raw and ran off the floor. I just remember a guy running during a free throw and throwing up, and he said, I'm good. And he ran back onto the floor because these kids played so hard. They were physically expending themselves. And I'm almost positive it was you, Michael. I'm almost positive it was you. Rod? It was Rod. It was Rod. He broke his finger too? Yeah. And I want to say one thing about Roger Johnson. He's not here. And we have all these coaches in here. Giles, these guys remember. And God bless him, he's not here. Roger Johnson, he was the heart of this team. He blew out. He played so hard. He blew out 7 pairs of shoes in a season. Like blew out, like his toes would blow out the sole. When I traveled, I always had to have an extra pair. He wore a size 17 shoe. And he had the ugliest toes and ever. I mean, Dave, his toes were like this. like this, and his toes would be sticking out the shoe. We had these old Adidas Pro models, and I had a pair of shoes sitting right behind it, and then that night, I had to go to East Bay, buy another pair of size 17s, and then travel with 17s. But he was really, honestly, he was everything to us. I know he stayed another year after I left. These guys are special. For a coach, it was almost like a cheat code. I had a superpower, and my superpower was these guys. I was fortunate enough, I haven't told you guys this story, I was fortunate enough to coach at USC after a few years, and I remember being in South Carolina Beach Camp, and I remember a coach came up to me and he said, I remember, you guys remember this, we had a thing, God, your coach was a jerk. If a player fell down, what was the rule? You guys remember this? Yeah, and during the game, if a player fell down and the game went dead, if all 4 other guys didn't help the player up, I automatically sub the guy out. Didn't care. And I did it in the championship game, I did it in the semifinals. I did not care. Well, sometimes games happen, your back's turned. These guys figured out a call system. They figured out some verbal system or whatever. You guys remember that? And they would scream at the top of their lungs to a point where there was a time when we were at the Riverside tournament, and this is what the coach told me this, and he remembered this. He said he had never seen it before, where the play went dead, he's in front of our bench, and one of our guys goes down, and my red shirt and gray shirt, and these guys were literally the energy bunnies of the team. They were energy bunnies. They jumped up off the bench, ran onto the floor, and I'm about to get a tee. We're like, look, I turned to the referee saying, please don't give me a tee, please don't give me a tee, please don't give me a tee. And they picked the guys up. I had to actually tell the officials before every single game that I had psychos at the end of the bench. And they would literally jump up and try and help their teammates up because we had to do it in practice. We did do it in practice. We were having practice. I ran your butts. Oh. The time I tripped over a cone, and you guys didn't help me up, and then you guys ran. That actually happened. It actually happened in practice, and I ran. I absolutely did. But the synergy energy from 1 through 15 was unbelievable. It was something. It was incredible. What these guys did and how hard they played, and the intensity to which they played was incredible. And so I'm honored for them. We have lots of stories. I'd love to tell the Rod story. I just can't tell it. You know the story. I can't tell the Rod story on a microphone. But these guys are unique and special. I love them to death. And to this day, people remember what you guys did. 37-0 is not an easy thing to do. I mean, I'm sorry. I apologize. That's the word. 65-9 is not easy to do. And I love you guys. And that's for you guys. I love you guys to death. These guys have turned out to be amazing young men. And so thank you guys very much for your time.
Some of them still look like they're playing today. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to extend special thanks and appreciation to those who made this evening possible. From our division office, Michelle Thomason and Sandra Chavez. Thank you for all of the behind-the-scenes work. That's where the magic happens, and we appreciate you. Our head women's track and field and head cross-country coach, Gina Bevitt. Our sports information and marketing director, Phil Thurman. Scott Giles, our athletics director. Dr. Bella Kelly, our dean.
thank you very much. And all of our student-athlete volunteers and Fullerton College coaches who helped to make this evening special. Thank you very much. And thank you all of our coaches that came to the event tonight. We love it. Thank you. Who else is here besides Perry Webster, Ryan Crooks, football? Who else is here? Dan Desmond, in fact, women's basketball. Who's over here? Gina Bevin, Levine, Speedy, Crystal, Yolanda, our department coordinator, tennis coach. Everybody, thank you for supporting. Gabriel Martinez, women's water polo coach, golf coach. Did I get everyone? Thank you, and thank you for everyone who helped. All right. Again, I want to remind you, I'm almost done, y'all. I'm almost done. I want to remind you that all donations made this evening will go directly towards supporting our student athletes. Please feel free to reach out to our athletic director, Scott Giles, for more information about ways to contribute for our student athlete success. We really appreciate that. It has been a wonderful evening. Inductees, congratulations. I hope the pride that you feel tonight lives on. It should. Well done. To everyone who joined us this evening, thank you. Honoring the achievements of someone you love and care about ensures that the meaningfulness of the evening will continue to be shared. Nights like tonight make being a Hornet special. Honoring the past provides pause for reflection and gratitude for time well spent on the grounds of this campus. You are now etched in the annals of immortality, the Fullerton College Athletic Hall of Fame. You are forever a Hornet. Once a Hornet, always a Hornet. Drive safely, everyone. See you in 2 years. Hold on a second. But first, let's do a group picture. So all of our inductees, please come up on the stage once basketball's here. Everyone, thank you for coming this evening. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Drive safely, everyone.
We hope you've enjoyed watching the 2026 Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony here on Hornet Radio. But before we end up going, we feel like we've been here for so many guys that it's our opportunity to name some people we think ought to be in the Hall of Fame before I give my last thanks. So I'm going to start over here with Thomas Cribbs. Thomas, who do you think maybe for the next Hall of Fame we ought to see inducted?
I mean, I'm shooting from the hip here, right? We heard multiple inductees say his name. I'm saying Coach Webster. Coach Webster, he's 5 OEC titles, 2 state championships now. His team is super young, and I have full faith that with his coaching style and the way that he has his players play, that he will further cement his legacy and move forward into that Fullerton College Hall of Fame.
Mr. Nalen, you're sitting to my right. You've been around here almost long as I have been. You've seen a plethora of talented athletes come through this program. So who do you put in the Hall of Fame?
Since there was special recognition and contribution of service to Fullerton College and the athletics, the next guy who needs to be recognized as a contributor to Fullerton College and in the Hall of Fame, sitting to my left, is Mark Pavlovich. Another voice for 26 years at Fullerton College as well. Football, basketball, softball, a champion of the classified, a champion of the educators, a champion of Fullerton College history. The spokesperson as well, Mark Pavlovich, on the next ballot. Lock it in. Next time there's a ceremony, he should be one of the guys.
Can I go to you guys over there next?
Well, you know what, Mark? I know that you're going over who is going to be inducted into the next ceremony, and I've got James over to my left. I'm actually going to start with him because I'm going to get a little greedy here. I'm going to go with 2 different inductees. So I'm going after you, and I'm going to. Okay, so there we go. Yes, you know what? Sorry. You're absolutely right. I'm going to use both of Corey's one finger and go 1 + 1 = 2. So we'll start with James. James, I know that you were looking into Fullerton College history, and you got someone that you really do think pops off the page.
Right, and I think it would be Larry Burright, who was in 1957 the first Fullerton Hornet ever drafted into the major leagues. He played under Coach Bud Dawson, who has a long history of Hall of Famers that he signed on here as an athletic director with Omelev and Scola and Arfiola, Scoba, and Sherbeck. So I think that alone shows that he was somebody special. To be the first player ever drafted in the major leagues is a big deal, and for Bud Dawson to recruit you in his first 2 years as a coach says something about you. He passed away just recently in October, but at 88 years old, and I think that would be a great honor for him to be in the Hall of Fame.
So that's James' pick, and I'm going to start with my very first pick. It goes back to someone that played here while I was a student. Noelle Cobb in 2013, 14, and 15, technically if you combine all 3 years. She led the team in scoring in both of her 2 seasons as a starter for Fullerton College. 11.6 points per game in her first season, and over 15 points per game in her second season. A second-team All-Conference selection in her first year, a first-team All-Conference selection, and a Fullerton College MVP in her second year. I think she was one of the best scorers in Fullerton College history. Her 38 points in one singular game is top 3 in Fullerton College history all time. And rebounding-wise, she's also top 3 as well. So Noelle Cobb is going to be my first pick. Now, since I am getting a little greedy here, James, there's someone over to my right that's not going to join us on the air right now, but we're going to get a chance to talk to him later. One of his student athletes got inducted earlier today. I think he is a living legend here at Fullerton College, and Mark and I talked about him a little bit earlier. He runs a program that consistently is talked about in California as one of the top in the state, not just for community college, but across the entirety of the nation and across multiple levels as well. I think Gabriel Martinez is a coach that is going to be inducted into the Fullerton College Hall of Fame. And honestly, if it were my way, they wouldn't even wait until he was retired or away from Fullerton College to do so. That is a Fullerton College legend with 2 national titles, multiple Final Four appearances and entries, and has been in the state championship a plethora of times. He has moved on multiple All-Americans, and he's also seen a vast variety of student athletes come to his program from schools that either didn't have water polo or weren't known for water polo, and helped develop those student athletes into D1, D2, D3, and NAIA transfers. Gabriel Martinez is my pick. Mark, I know you've got someone who you truly think is close to your heart.
Well, Ryan Osborne, you got to know that I'm the oldest guy here, so I'm going to take 2 also. First of all, I'm going to take a man that I know would not accept it if it was given to him. And that person would be none other than Ed Ford. Because Ed Ford, I'm telling you now, this Hall of Fame would not be broadcast, Corey Nalen, if it wasn't for Ed Ford deciding 26 years ago. We were going to sub about 20, but I'm giving Ed 6 more. Yeah, I've got my hat at home. Ed told me we've been streaming for 20 years. That's what he told me the other day. If it wasn't for Ed Ford, community college sports would not be streaming. I sincerely believe that. And I also know that these Hall of Fame programs would not have happened because we did the audio version before the video version. I know Ed would say thanks, no thanks, but Ed, as far as I'm concerned, you are the guy. You have let me be with you the entire way, and I would be proud to hand you the award. When it comes to a coach, though, I have been around Fullerton College football since the mid-'60s. I saw Hal Sherbeck. He won his champions. There were 60,000 people that used to come to games here. But the guy who should be inducted in the Hall of Fame, because I've talked with Corey Nalen, I've talked with Ryan Osborne, and Brian Crook said absolutely that Tim Burns should be if the school had not told him to step aside. The greatest football coach here at Fullerton College. They have guaranteed me that he would have at least, not necessarily in a row, because you told me, Corey, he'd have back-to-back national championships. He wouldn't have 3 in a row, but he would have at least 3 right now. And Ryan Osborne confirmed that about Tim Burns. If Tim Burns is not put in the Hall of Fame next time around as the, if not the greatest Fullerton College Hornet football coach, it's a travesty when you look at everybody that's been put in before him. Ryan, I know you're waiting to say something.
Yeah, Mark, you know what? One of my favorite things about Mark Pavlovich, and I'll mention this to Corey and Tommy and also James, is that even in a room full of people, I can hear him projecting. And that's the best thing about Mark Pavlovich. But if you want to talk about Tim Burns, yeah, he was always a very special coach to myself as well. I do agree with Mark Pavlovich. I do think he is a Fullerton College legend. I do think he should be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And one of the reasons is because as a young student myself, James, when I was here in 14, 15, and 16, Tim Burns always made time for me. Every single week, even after games where they got blown out, even after games where they lost in heartbreaking fashion. You remember that Saddleback game, Mark, over at Yorba Linda. He still looked at me and said, yes, I will do the interview. Now, I may not be the most, happy-go-lucky, talkative guy right now, but I will do the interview. And he did exactly that every single time, whether it be on the camera or off the camera. He allowed for a young Ryan Osborne to go out there with Mark Pavlovich and Corey Nalen and learn more about the program, learn more about what made this football team special, learn more about the ins and outs of what it takes to be a national champion. So I also agree with you, Mark. I think Tim Burns is a guy that you do have to look at and say, that's a Fullerton College Hall of Famer.
Can I throw you in before we go on that one? Just say yes or no?
We already talked about that.
Okay.
And real quick, Mark, not to interrupt you real quick, but I know that you're going to start getting towards the end here. So real quick, I do want to give a shout out to D'Angelo Ross for joining us on the broadcast. You saw his interview earlier, James. He's a guy that I know I've talked to you guys all about in the past, but D'Angelo Ross, a very special thank you to D'Angelo for joining us on the broadcast. But also, if we want to talk about going back to that 2016 year, D'Angelo was a guy who also looked at me and said every single time I asked for an interview, he said yes. He broke down the position for me, gave me a better understanding of what it was like to be a cornerback, what it was like to be a defensive back, what specifically he was looking for technique-wise, really understanding what in the world Phil Austin was trying to tell me when it came to the technique of a defensive back. He broke it down for me and helped me understand and helped me turn into a football guy from someone who didn't have the experience. D'Angelo's family is also very special to us here at Fullerton College and Hornet Radio and SportsNetUSA.net at the time, because every single time that we go up to talk to them, they made time for us. His family always made us feel welcome, which was extremely special, because every single game they came to, they came up to us and asked us how we were doing, how the game was going, what our last road trip was like. So a very special thank you to not only D'Angelo, but his family as well.
Well, you thank some people, so I'm going to thank the rest. We want to thank, first of all, our 145 students who came out here, and they are family. They're not just students. They are family. They work as hard as anybody else out here. So to Travis Forrester, Peyton Castellano, James Spillman. James, thanks for going on the air with me. We had a great time. Did I say his name wrong? I said Spillman.
James Spillman, Peyton Castellanos, Meek, and Travis Forrester.
Well, no, he didn't write Meek, did he?
Peyton Castellanos.
Okay, thank you. Becky Nguyen, Thomas Cribbs. What? I said that wrong too?
Win.
Well, why don't you people tell me how to say your name? I know it's Lily Mashburn. Give me that thing, dude.
Want to thank myself, Corey Nalen. Also, no, just kidding.
Wow. You know, you guys are supposed to tell people. I'd like to thank, Joseph Pavlenko, Caleb. I tipped my hair with Spice Ramos all the way. Phil Thurman, Scott Giles, Dr. Beth Kelly, the people that really matter. D'Angelo Ross with Ryan, you were very eloquent on that. And most of all, of course, our man Perry Webster here at the table. Most of all, I want to thank our producer tonight. a young man that I had the pleasure of having as a student here, who was quiet, shy, meek, stood in the corner. I don't know what happened to him. He came out of a cocoon and scares the hell out of me now. That's all I could say. But he is one of the most articulate, fine young men you will ever meet. He understands the game of media and radio. To the producer of tonight, Ryan Osborne, who did an outstanding job here. To everybody, if I got your name right or wrong, to Travis, Peyton, James, Becky, Thomas, Lily, Corey, Joseph, Ryan, Caleb, Phil, Scott, Dr. Beth Kelly, and D'Angelo Ross. There, I got them all right. I want to thank you all for being here and watching with us the 26th Fullerton College Hall of Fame induction ceremony on Hornet Radio.